this chat is like.
Yes, you are the first one to swear on the stream, Ben.
Oh. I thought that was
There is a
me.
battle going on.
Guys, we need to judge this. Whoa.
Yes, I'm still watching. That was
Huge mistake from Chase there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, lead did sort of not provide the best lead, but also Chase should have adjusted a lot better
Yeah,
than
it
that.
didn't warrant. It didn't warrant that big of a mistake.
Stream restarted.
Stream's restarted.
Yep.
So is Ben on stream now?
Ben, have you just logged into your stream? It says it's still streaming.
Yeah, if you I did message you to say, can you cancel yours? But it seems to mine has sort of I started the program and it's overwritten it, so I now have the master stream again.
Are you in control? I will end the stream then.
I would suggest we do this after this battle, guys.
Let's do this.
You do this battle.
So,
brilliant. Let's do this, guys.
Jordan to Chase. Oh, nice entry from Josh.
Tire drop there. Not sure if that's enough to offset.
A little bit. Really pushing him through the finish line. Honestly,
Yeah.
I could possibly see this one more time. Personally, that is my first feeling, but I would like to have another look.
I don't know. I think the wheel drop and the over rotation for me kind of even themselves out. But then overall, I think Jordan better chase run.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna have to go.
I would agree with that
Jordan
too.
on that one.
Yeah. So if I were to pick, I would definitely give a bit of an advantage to Jordan. But yeah, sure.
If we can pick a winner, we will pick a winner.
Yep.
So yeah, Jordan
Exactly.
goes through.
Congratulations, Jordan.
Right, chaps.
Right.
I am here. I have control of the stream.
Actually, it might make sense if we can just do this one more battle, because then the first group is done and we can sort everything out while I get drivers in.
Okay.
You are in. Oh, have you got your Assetto up, Ben?
I've got everything. I'm in. I'm spectating. I'm showing people what's happening in the stream. I have access to the replay cams. I have access to the battle results. I have access to everything. So if you guys can start using the battle results for the next one, and then I will fully loop back in with everything else over the course of the next load in. But if you can use the battle cam results now, then that would be perfect.
I've ended my stream. I will see the battle result there.
And if you can just drop me a message with who's won battles so far.
Right.
You want me to do that?
Yes, if you could, because I'm presuming
I already did it.
That's that done. Right, Anders, how do I use this battle controller thing?
So, who's leading first? Daniel Parangauskas. Or Logan Daniels, sorry.
Logan Daniels.
Lovely. Right, guys. I'm going to drop out of this for now, and I'm going to go into the commentary chat. Let's get this done, and then I will take over full running. We'll get everything up to speed from there.
Okay.
Everyone happy?
Brilliant, Ben.
Yes.
Yes. Let's do this, guys.
Okay, everyone, welcome. I apologise for the delay in this, but we are going to get straight into this. This is Logan Daniels leading in Mark Pretty. This is a big one. This is our top 32. These guys underway now. You've seen 3 battles already. It was sad to see Josh Oxley go out, but look at this from Mark Pretty using that S14.9 to dive up onto the side. But Logan Daniels has obviously got a lot of grip in that RPS 13. Look at the way he's driving away across the edge of outer zone 7 there. That is a huge lead advantage, as we see, going back to the replay, Logan Daniels flicking in onto that outer zone at 1. Not quite fulfilling it as much as he would expect to, but look at Mark Pretty on the dive. All of this from Mark Pretty, very good, keeping that proximity, managing to hang on to the back quarter of Logan Daniels, but not managing to send it as hard up onto the inside in this transition here. This is the bit where we start to see Logan Daniels get on the throttle and just open up that gap. There's a wobble coming into 7 just here, and then away they go. That is it. Let's go straight over to the battle results. Sorry, let's go back to the top 32. As we see these guys switch around, this is now Logan Daniels chasing in Mark Pretty. Mark Pretty in that lead position, getting himself out onto that wall. Oh, and I think Mark Pretty managed to lure Logan Daniels into the wall there. We're going to have to see what the judges think of that. They're going to have to assign blame, but Logan Daniels did not drive away from clip 2. Mark Pretty has made it out the other side. This is a serious battle now unfolding here. We're going to go back to the replay and have a look at that. So here on the replay you can see that initiation from Logan Daniels in the chase position. Mark Pretty just gets a little bit wide, and then there appears to be a bit of lag there, and then that's them into the walls. It's all over in the background for Logan Daniels, but Mark Pretty manages to drive away for the time being, getting himself out into that outside line, round and across. We're going to drop in onto the judges chat in a minute, but for the time being, let's have a look and see if there is a result from that battle. Head judge Caleb Dauphiné. That's 2. Is it unanimous? Are they going to say that that error was entirely on Logan Daniels in the chase position? It doesn't matter for now if it's unanimous or not. Chris has not made a decision, but I can confirm that for the time being, that means that the first battle of the top 32 that we have had where the higher qualifying driver did not go through to the top 16, that is Logan Daniels losing out to Australia's Mark Pretty in that chase position, putting himself into the wall and taking himself out of contention. Well now, what a to-do. What are we having here? Let's go back to things. We're going to drop in onto the judges, I think, in a second. Have a quick chat with them.
Yeah, it's changed.
Hello, judges. You are live on the stream. We've just come to you so that we can talk through that result. I see that that went to 2, and then Chris, you stayed in the middle on that one. Was that just sort of a simple fault at blame? Chase driver shouldn't have been lured into the wall.
No, that was a judge's controller app issue.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
pressed over to Mark on the board.
But we're saying that the fault there was Logan in the chase position, just luring himself into the wall.
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant. Okay, well, thank you very much. We just wanted to come across to you to get that result there, and I shall leave you alone. So, there we go. It looks like, for some reason, we are back and we have got things working again. I don't know what happened. You know, we had all of you who were with us last week or 2 weeks ago know that we had problems with some issues of the stream not working at all. And that was down to just a full IT issue for my PC, which decided it did not want to work. This week, everything was running absolutely smoothly, right up until we started to go live, and I started to set up, and then my internet decided not to connect. And it's taken until now, it's been 1 hour and 45, but we are here, and we have internet, and we have everything working. So, this is what we are looking at so far. You have had Daryl Diaz versus Vadim Abramov, Danielis Parangauskas versus Vakaris Aliukas, Jordan Fry versus Josh Oxley, and Logan Daniels versus Mark Pretty. And those are the guys who are through at the moment to your top 16. Daryl Diaz will be taking on Danielis Parangauskas, and Jordan Fry will be taking on Mark Pretty. Now coming onto the server, we have Alexander Yegard to take on Jakob Kadavi, William William Holloway versus Artem Makushenko, and Warren Greener versus Dimitri Mitin, Sean Adu versus Stephen Jarboe. That is your next 4 battles of the top 32. They are coming onto the server now. Everything appears to be working really well for us here for the time being. So let's get back into the action. And while we're waiting for these guys to load in, I'm just going to go through and do all of the bits that we missed at the top of the show because we were waiting for me to have functioning internet. So if you haven't seen it recently, this is your track map for Three Sisters. The initiation brings you around that top corner into that first decel zone to outer zone 1, then a big transition to outer zone 2, through the power alley out to that clip in the middle at 3, then another decel just at the beginning of outer zone 4. Transitioning there across into Luna 5 in the middle of your screens is on that left hand side of the track before running through to single clipping point 6 and 7 on the outside zone of Luna and across the line. In our battle rules, it is a direct driver competition elimination head-to-head battle for these drivers consisting of 2 runs. For those of you who are unfamiliar with drifting, each battle consists of 2 runs and each driver will lead and chase once per battle. The judges choose a winner and then they are based on the combination of both runs, or they can have them opt to run one more time. Our lead driver is expected to run as close as possible to a perfect line as per the driver briefing and the track map you have just seen. They must ensure that the run is easy to chase, and deliberately making it hard to chase will result in a massive penalty to our drivers. They must conform to the throttle map as per the briefing and as per you have just seen. What do we want from our chase drivers, I hear you cry, at least muted or at least a little bit. That is to initiate no later than the countdown cone, or in this instance the final initiation line. They must maintain first and foremost closest possible proximity to the lead car without compromising the line of the lead car, and then match or better the lead car's angles. That is what we are looking for from them. That is how everything is set up. You have seen the bracket. What you might not have seen over the course of the warm-up time that these guys were using is the position of the drivers at the end of yesterday. You've seen them coming onto it now, but this was our top 32. That was the highest average score from yesterday, was Daryl Diaz getting that 92.5. The only driver, Austin Zalewski managed it well, but only 2 drivers managed consistent 90s. So that was an extremely tight qualifying session, 22.5 points pretty much separating the entirety of the top 32. So it looks like we've got all of our guys in and they are ready to go. Let's get back to the line. Our next battle on this bracket is going to be Alexander Jaegard to lead in Jakub Kadavi. Alexander Jaegard coming up to the line now, warming up those tyres in the background, getting himself all settled, set up and ready to go. And he is taking on Jakub Kadavi, a driver who he has not battled before in that E92. This is 2 very different setups of cars. The E92, an incredibly high traction car, very fast off the line, very fast through the course when it gets into the throttle zone. Expect to see Jakub Kadavi, if he loses ground during the first half of the course, make it right back up onto the door of Alexander Jaegard going through Luna. But here we go. This is Alexander Jaegard to lead in Jakub Kadavi as they go for the flick. Alexander Jaegard right out onto the outside line. Jakub Kadavi, Alexander Jaegard's gone too hard. He's dropped a wheel on the outer zone at 1. Jakub Kadavi dropping back, giving him room to hang himself on that one, and now sending it up the inside on the clip 3 into clip 4. This decel there not being used very much by Jakub Kadavi, trying to surge up onto that door. Now we go through the transition. Jakub Kadavi got the hammer absolutely down. Look at the way the car surges up, but Alexander Jaegard's opening up that gap anyway, starting to put the hammer down through that section and across the line. Let's go back to the replay. So you can see here that error from Alexander Jaegard straight away as he comes into that first corner, starting to cause him some issues there. Really not what he will have wanted to be doing, but manages to get himself sorted again afterwards, get himself back into position. And then here we come across the finish line through this section, that gap opening back up. and then getting himself sorted. So we go back to it. They have just come off the line. This time it is Jakub Kadavi in the lead position, and Alexander Jaeger does not want to give him any room at all. Jakub Kadavi goes for that transition across, filling out of zone 2 really nicely, but look at Alexander Jaeger. Look at that proximity from Alexander Jaeger all the way through the transition, keeping it right up onto the door, maybe cutting a little bit short onto the inside at clip 4, but now surging back up onto that side through clip 5. But Jakub Kadavi using the power of the E92 to start to pull away massively through that section and across the line. Here we go on the replay. You can see Jakub Kadavi not having that same error that we saw from Alexander Jaeger on the send into outer zone 1. Really struggling to maintain the proximity all the way through the course in the first one. This is going to very much come down to a lead versus lead, chase versus chase. Was that massive error from Alexander Jaeger in that first run, was that error where he drops his wheel over that clip enough to offset that massive surge from Jakub Kadavi as we go into that last section? Was Alexander Jaeger's incredible proximity enough to overturn that error? So here we are. It is Alexander Jaeger on the left of your screen, Jakub Kadavi on the right hand side of your screen. Let's see what happens with the judges. They are... some things happen to our stream. See what happens. Waiting for this to go back. Jakub Kadavi. Oh my god, they're just powering on. It looks like they've ended up moving on the stream before we've even got the result. Let's have a look at this. So sorry folks, there we go. We've missed out on the first part of this battle. This is William Holloway chasing Artem Mukushenko. I don't know why they moved on so fast in the judging panel, but we'll go back and try and watch some of that replay. Sorry about that. So let's go back across to this. We're going to see the second half of this battle. So this is William Holloway now to lead in Artem Mukushenko. William Holloway now in that chase position. Artem Mukushenko in the lead. William Holloway surges up, but there's a contact straight away. There's contact from the two drivers as they come into clip 2. Was that Mukushenko slowing down too much? Was that William Holloway going too hard on the send? You can see as they surge up onto the door into clip 4. Massive error there from one of those drivers. That's going to come down to a call from our judges. Who was at fault there? Who was the blame going to lie on? Let's have a look at that in the replay, see if we can work that out ourselves. So here we just join them as they make this transition across. That looked to me like maybe it was too much send from the chase position as they come in to that section. But here into the latter part of the course, we can see everything starting to fall apart in that early part, then got gathered back up by William Holloway as he comes all the way through this section here and now round and through to across the line. So sliding left for William Holloway, sliding right for Artem Mukushenko. I can confirm from the last battle that blame of the drop-off for Alexander Jaeger was too much. He was considered at fault. Jakub Kadavi won the last battle, and we're just waiting to see who he's going to fight in this section. That's 2 votes for Artem Mukushenko. Is it going to be unanimous? Yes, it is. That is unanimous. Artem Mukushenko gets the win and will advance on to the top 16. So, coming up next, We will find out Warren Greener versus Dmitry Mitin. As we now know that Jakub Kadavi will take on Artem Makushenko. That is an upset. We were expecting both Alexander Yegard and William Holloway to really go far in the competition today. Very interesting to see both of those guys going out in the top 32. So we're waiting now as we see Warren Greener coming up to the line. He's going to be leading first. Warren Greener comes up in that 2JZ powered GT86. He's going to be leading in first. And that is our next lineup in this battle. Warren Greener versus Dmitry Mitin. That's the battle that we're seeing here. There's Dmitry Mitin now on the right-hand side of your screens. Warren Greener versus Dmitry Mitin. Let's get straight into this. They're on the line, ready to go. Okay, lights come on. That is controlled by Anders Unger, our driver wrangler on the start line there. As we see Warren Greener open up that gap and go for a huge entry. Look at him riding that outside line. Dmitry Mitin having to send it up the inside, not managing to get up onto that inside edge as he closes up onto the door of Warren Greener only in the latter part of clip 2. Then going for this send up the inside. Big flick transition. Oh, but Warren Greener's gone too wide. Warren Greener's dropped tyres, not able to get himself settled onto that outside line as Dmitry Mitin's now very much back in the fight despite that error in turn 1. Look at Warren Greener trying to reopen that gap and reassert his dominance onto that section. Let's go back to the replay and watch that unfold again. Evil Sea Colonel, thank you for the like. Try Not to Cry, thank you for the follow. AOM for Sideman, Jump, give the follow. Rema TV, thank you for the follow. Ian Wilton for the follow as well. Caddis54, all of you guys coming and joining along. So, someone asking in the chat, what is the purpose of such a race? So the idea is that the lead car in every battle should put down as close as possible to a 100-point qualifying run. They are there in order to get the most accurate driving across the run that they can. The chase driver is there just to try and get maximum proximity as they go through the run. They need to then switch around and swap over. Then the other driver leads. That is what's happening now. Dmitry Mitin will now lead in. He's going to try and get that 100-point qualifying run. And Warren Greener is going to surge up onto his door and try and maintain as much proximity as possible as he sends it up the inside. Warren Greener trying to make over for that massive error in turn 4 here. On the first run through, you can see Dmitry Mitin having no such problems keeping that car successfully inside the lines onto the outer clipping zone at 4. And now as he runs through Luna, Warren Greener trying to bring the fight straight back to him, trying to punctuate that run and overturn that error in the judges' minds. I don't think it's going to be enough. I think that one has gone to Dmitry Mitin, but we will find out as we go back round. This replay is underway. You can see Dmitry Mitin not on a 100-point qualifying run quite. You can see this transition here. He ends up shy in clip 4, doesn't fulfill the outer zone as much as possible, but lead run versus lead run, chase run versus chase run. I think that one's probably going to Dmitry Mitin, but I'm not judging today. That is down to our 3 judges in the booth themselves. Let's go straight across to these battle results, have a look and see what we shall see. Sliding right for Dmitry Mitin, sliding left for Warren Greener. Washfab, thanks for explaining. No problem at all. We had to rush through it because of my internet issues at the beginning. Normally we would have a really slow, steady, detailed breakdown of how we do all of the judging here, but drifting in general all works in the same way, and this is how it's done. Thank you, Washfab, for the follow, and Nudazim for the follow. Thank you very much. Welcome along. Waiting on our judges to slide those results in. Oh, as we see, those results have slipped over already. They have loaded up the next set of drivers as we're coming in. So I can confirm it has now been given to me over the headset that Dmitry Mitin did get the win after that error from Warren Greener. Now we're going to see Sean O'Doux going up against Stephen Jarboe. Those are the drivers that have just come up to the line. Sean O'Do to leave in Stephen Jarboe first. That is what we have got next. So Dimitri Mitin, for some reason our graphic moving on too quickly for our guys there. But Sean O'Do now leading in Dimitri Mitin. Sean O'Do not getting off the start as fast as not Dimitri Mitin, sorry, as fast as Stephen Jarboe was expecting. Stephen Jarboe absolutely sent it up the inside, expecting him to go much, much quicker, but has now shuffled across onto that outside line. Sean O'Do on a lovely line here, though. Look at Sean O'Do fulfilling all of those clips as he goes through the transition, but he cannot stay. Stephen Jarboe is using the grip on the S15 through the transitions to punctuate every single one of those changes of direction. Look at Stephen Jarboe bringing it to the side of Sean O'Do through there. Let's go back and watch that on the replay. I enjoyed every part of that. Look at Stephen Jarboe send it fast. He preempts that transition, sends it up the inside of Sean O'Do, who drops a wheel at 2. Then this transition, look at the surge from Stephen Jarboe in that chase position. That S15 gripped right up to punctuate every single one of these changes of directions, pushing right up onto the door of Sean O'Do, keeping that angle off to maintain proximity. Maybe a little wobble there through 7, but overall, very, very good from Stephen Jarboe in the chase position. Now he will lead. They're back on the start line. They are ready to go. Stephen Jarboe now will lead in Sean O'Do. Lights come on. Anders got the control of those lights there. Our start line marshal, Anders Unger, as Stephen Jarboe now goes for that flick initiation. Look at that gap start to open up already. Sean O'Do goes to high angle to try and punctuate his entry, but that transition from Stephen Jarboe is just savage. He has got that car set up to do all of the fun things through those transitions. Firing onto that outside line now, got the hammer down. This transition crucial. Stephen Jarboe could break the contact with Sean O'Do. Sean O'Do struggling to stay in contact with Stephen Jarboe. Look at the gap opening up as Sean O'Do has to cut the line as hard as possible to keep up with the man in the S15 in front of him. Let's go back and have a look at that. Astor Road, thank you for the host. Exy Bouquet, thank you for the follow. You're seeing here, this is the last battle of the left-hand side of our top 32. Sean O'Do chasing Stephen Jarboe in the second battle here. This is really serious moves from Stephen Jarboe. That car is clearly gripped right up. Look at the gap open up the moment he jumps on the throttle. Sean O'Do has to surge up the inside, desperately trying to rein him back in and across the line as we go to the results from our judges. Caleb, Chris, and it says Bobby, but actually Bobby is here. He's been replaced by Octavian Shelarou here. Kinetic Legend 27, thank you for the follow. What a battle that was for them, these two Americans, as we wait for Sean O'Do or Stephen Jarboe. Still waiting on this to drop in. DSM Jordan, thank you for the subscription. Great to have you here. Still waiting on our judges. Remember, at this point, what they're looking at is lead versus lead, chase versus chase. Stephen Jarboe in that chase position had a lot less angle as he came up onto the door of Sean O'Do, but Sean O'Do dropping that wheel in the chase, in the lead position, and then just not managing to keep proximity with Stephen Jarboe as they went through that fast outside section. Even through those transitions, that S15 absolutely set up to punctuate every change of direction with as much as possible. Just waiting for these judges scored to drop in. And we can see that is unanimous. It's gone to Stephen Jarboe on the right-hand side there. Stephen Jarboe getting the win using that extra fast transition speed to get it sorted. Wow. So, there we go. I can confirm that Dimitri Mitin will face Stephen Jarboe, and in a real shake-up versus the first half of the battle tree on this left-hand side, we can now see that it was actually all of the lower-ranked drivers in that section who managed to overcome both halves of that battle. So that is an incredibly interesting outcome. This is how your bracket looks off the back of this. Let's go straight across to that. KKC Yoda, thank you for the follow. JL Bicky, thank you for the follow. Here is your standing at the moment. On the left-hand side of the bracket, we will see in the top 16, your number one qualifier, Daryl Diaz, taking on Danielis Parangauskas, Jordan Fry taking on Mark Pretty, Jakub Kadavi taking on Artem Makashenko, Dmitry Mitin taking on that very fast S15 2J of Stephen Jarboe. On the other side of the bracket, we're waiting now on Austin Zalewski, our second place qualifier, and Shay McCullough. They're going to be your next battle. Then Robert Kaczynski versus Tyler Leach, Brett Wolford versus TJ Anders, and Ronnie Irwin versus Dylan Fink. That is the next 4 battles loading into the server now. After that, Mustafa Amini versus Anestas Jakublis. Mustafa Amini almost hanging on to second, right to the end of qualifying from only the second group, but just being knocked down at the end by Austin Zalewski. He'll be taking on Anestas Jakublis. Connor Christensen versus Josh McGleenan. Jamie Healy versus Hayden Shepherd. And Darren Baker versus DMVC driver Serban Matei. That is all coming up very, very shortly. That is what we're looking at here. Thank you for the cheer. Thank you for the follow, Hurtig. Really good to have you here. So, hope you guys are enjoying this. Let's see what is going on here. Just waiting for these guys to load in. Your first battle, as we say, that is going to be Austin Zalewski to lead in Shay McCullough. Shay is a regular of some of our offline, our Friday face-off or Saturday showdown competitions, our less rigid competitions. This is what we're looking at now as we go. This is Austin Zalewski on the left-hand side of your screen there. Shay McCullough on the right. The man from the US versus the young man from Ireland. This is going to be an interesting battle. Both of these guys have been looking very fast over the course of practice and also through the course of our qualifying runs yesterday. But Austin Zalewski has been on an absolute tear ever since round 1. He has been looking super, super hard at getting that speed dialed in. It is really interesting. What's going on here? Something weird on the start line. Okay, they are lined up. This is Austin Zalewski to lead in first. Shay McCullough in the chase position. Both of these guys opting for this RPS 13 2JZ powered replica of the Stefan and Stefanov BDC competition car as Austin Zalewski goes for that initiation. Slightly late off the line. I'm surprised that wasn't called for sandbagging as he fires it onto the outside line there. You can see Shay McCullough determined to do what he can to get right up onto the door of Austin Zalewski. But look at that rotation to angle from Austin Zalewski in the lead position, getting nicely out onto that outside line. And now Shay McCullough trying to push up onto his door, desperately trying to make sure that he doesn't get left behind here as Austin Zalewski gets the hammer down through Luna and across the line. Here we go. We join them back midway through that replay. These guys coming up onto this outside line, pushing hard now through from Austin Zalewski. Really tries to rotate that car onto the outside line as hard as possible. Shay McCullough is definitely having to cut the track to keep the proximity, but you can see here as they come through Luna, he does that to great effect. Look at him dive to that inside edge to make sure that he holds it there. Then a little bit of a wobble as he comes through, but now they come back round to the start. What's just happened here? It looks like someone might have called a 5-minute. You're not allowed to port back to pits. Brian Young, thank you for the like. Welcome along. just getting word from our start line marshal Anders Unger that that was called as a restart. But the drivers decided to carry on regardless. So this is still Austin Zalewski to lead. That is a restart from that run. So that is that is the problem with not having actual track marshals, no one using that yellow flag. What are we seeing here? Is Austin Zalewski called the 5-minute? Every driver gets 1 competition timeout. So that is a started a timer now. Austin Zalewski has called his competition timeout. He gets 1 timeout to try and sort out his technical issues over the course of the competition. That is his 1 used up. Robert Kwiaczynski and Tyler Leach will come up to the line instead. So Robert Kwiaczynski will lead in first. And he's being chased by Tyler Leach. Robert Kwiaczynski, one of the drivers that managed to put in a really strong run early on in qualifying yesterday. He's going to be leading in on this first battle. Being chased in by that SN95 of Tyler Leach. Robert Kwiaczynski was looking quick all the way through that first part of the track. Let's see, they're under starters' orders. Kwiaczynski in the lead in that GT86, again with a 2J under the hood, is being chased in by that supercharged V8 SN95 of Tyler Leach. Look at Tyler Leach sending it up onto the door in that first section there, but this is where the GT86 is so good. Very, very fast through these hard transitions, but Tyler Leach sending it hard onto the door. That is a fantastic chase from the man in that big SN95, but is the speed of the GT86 going to be his undoing here? You can see as soon as he matches angle, that GT86 just starts to pull away. It's an incredibly fast car, but let's go back to the replay, see if that's going to matter. Oh, why is it not done the replay correctly? There we go, we're moving across. Here you go, this is where it starts to come undone for Tyler Leach a little bit as we go through here. Great send from him, just has to back off again as he goes up onto the inside edge, but there through the transition onto the door of Robert Kwiaczynski. But there, as soon as he's at matching angle coming into that early part of Luna, Tyler Leach just loses ground all the way through that section. But is it going to matter? Can it be changed around as they come into the second half of the run? They're under starters' orders. Here we go. Tyler Leach off the line in the lead position. Robert Kwiaczynski in the chase. Tyler Leach goes for this flick onto the outside edge, rotates the car to angle, tries to keep it on that outside edge, now gets the flick across. Look at that, Robert Kwiaczynski actually sending it a little bit up the inside, trying to maintain that proximity, and a big gap opening up as they come down the power alley. Tyler Leach on that absolutely massive amount of angle into clip 4, and I think that was contact. We'll have to go back to the replay, but that to me looked like there was contact from Robert Kwiaczynski, just trying to upset Tyler Leach in that lead position, and you can see how much it has thrown him off in that lead. Let's go back to the replay. We really want to see that. This is where it all starts to get more interesting as they come out of clip 2. Watch Tyler Leach open up this huge gap, and I think there was maybe even a little bit of contact. The GT86 of Robert Kwiaczynski really struggling, and then here, this is the problem. Oh, was there lag? Was there lag from Tyler Leach? Oh, this is going to be a tough one for our judges to call. Tyler Leach having that wobble that then causes everything else. Is it going to be put down to him, or is that one being assigned to Robert Kwiaczynski? Here we go. Robert Kwiaczynski sliding left for our judges, right for Tyler Leach. Just waiting for that to drop into place. Still waiting on those judges' results to drop in. Let's have a look, see if that is dropping into place from our judges. There we go, sliding left. That is Robert Kwiatkowski gets them all. That is unanimous for Robert Kwiatkowski, getting the result there. He goes through, knocking out Tyler Leach. The judges deciding that Tyler Leach was at fault for that issue in that first section. So we go back to this battle with Austin Zalewski leading in Shea McCullough. Austin Zalewski is on the right of your screens as we look now. He is going to be leading in Shea McCullough. They are under starters' orders. Here we go. Austin Zalewski to lead in Shea McCullough. Austin Zalewski getting off the line cleanly this time. Managed to get everything dialed in. Enjoy Monkey, thank you very much for the follow. But Shea McCullough's managing to hold on to that proximity as he goes through here. That is a serious dive from him onto the inside edge. Now up through that inside line. Look at Austin Zalewski, though. He has got that absolutely dialed in. But Shea McCullough's right there. Shea McCullough bringing the heat up onto the door of Austin Zalewski. Here we go. You can see on this initiation, Shea McCullough absolutely right alongside Austin Zalewski as they go for that flick in. Incredibly tight up onto there. Now we start to see them come firing through here. Austin Zalewski looking strong in that lead position. Shea McCullough just hesitating a little bit as they come through the power alley. But Austin Zalewski on the send up the inside. Everyone ready to go there. That is looking really good. Firing through onto the outside edge and then back and across the line. Okay, so they have switched round. This is now Shea McCullough to lead in Zalewski. They are underway. Shea McCullough in the lead position. Not quite sure why these guys have got identical liveries. They are not teammates. Shea McCullough now trying to pull away from Austin Zalewski into there. Shea McCullough settling gently, but onto that outside line, right on that outside edge. Look at that positioning from Shea McCullough as Austin Zalewski tries to get up onto his door. This is a really nice lead line from Shea McCullough, but it's allowing that huge send from Austin Zalewski up onto the inside edge. Now onto that flick back across on the power there. This hammer down. Look at the proximity from Austin Zalewski. That is massive. More compact together than it was when the roles were reversed. Let's go back and have a look at that one more time. This transition absolutely fantastic from Austin Zalewski. He is looking like a man on a mission, sending it up the inside on this dive. Look at the surge forward against Shea McCullough, really getting that power down into place in the nicest possible way. Shea McCullough on a fantastic lead line. You can only have a chase this good when your lead is fantastic, but this, I think, may already be fairly preordained as they come across. So, sliding left for Austin Zalewski, sliding right for Shea McCullough. That battle was worthy of a final there. We wait for this to slot into place. And they have all gone left. That is unanimous for Austin Zalewski. Austin Zalewski gets the win and will advance on to the top 16. So, as we see these guys donutting around, we can confirm that Austin Zalewski moves on to the top 16, and we already know that he is going to be battling Robert Kwiatkowski for a place in the Great 8. So Austin Zalewski will be facing Robert Kwiatkowski in that top 16. Tyler Leach sadly knocked out while we were waiting for these guys to finish up on their 5-minute rule. Next up, Brett Woolford will lead in TJ Anders. Brett Woolford now in that lead position on the Mustang. TJ Anders in the James Dean Hero replica car, as we see TJ Anders desperately trying to get back into that fight with Brett Woolford. That Mustang so fast. Look at it send up the inside there. Big power in that Mustang. Not that much power in the S14.9, the James Dean replica car, but incredibly gripped up, and it looks like he got the timing wrong on that transition. Punted into the back of Brett Wolford there as TJ Anders now tries to get back up onto the door. Look at that. They're going to have to really put that down to a judge's decision to see who was at fault, and we can have a look at that first and foremost on this replay. Let's all go back and have a look at that. Look at this transition from TJ Anders, absolutely savage, bringing him up onto the rear quarter. But Brett Wolford here gets this transition beautifully down into 4. TJ Anders sending it up the inside. Brett Wolford, a little bit of left foot braking, but then as he goes to fire across, TJ Anders is in him. It looked as though that might have been a lag bump. The judges will have to decide who was at fault there, but we'll move back, go along to the second half of this top 32 battle. This time, TJ Anders to lead in, Brett Wolford to chase. Light comes on. What the drivers have started referring to as the dildo of destiny, the semaphore at the beginning there with the lights showing as we see TJ Anders goes for that flick initiation onto the outside line. Brett Wolford's right there with him though, just dropping back enough to give them room to surge up the inside. Now power down. Look at Brett Anders bringing that fight to Brett Wolford getting it sent up the inside now. This gap opening up, you can see how much grip. Oh, as Brett Wolford goes off in the background, totally unaided. That is TJ Anders now driving away. Is that going to be a one more time? It depends entirely on who the judges had at fault for that first contact in the first part of the round. Let's have a look at this. As this replay, we see TJ Anders leading in Brett Wolford this time around. Brett Wolford in the Mustang in that chase position gets up onto the door. Really hard manoeuvring from both of these drivers. Now they're back in onto it. That send through here, you can see Brett Wolford tries to make up ground, gets lost in the smoke and forgets just how big his Mustang is and slides off the back end of that corner as TJ Anders surges away all the way round Luna and across the line. As we go back, Brett Wolford, TJ Anders. That is 3 one more times from the judges. I can confirm that has come through as 3 one more times from the judges. It was 1 each at fault. They're going to go at it again. So here we go, we're back to it. They were each at fault for one of those runs. TJ Anders punting Brett Wolford off the track in the first one. Brett Wolford throwing himself off the track in the second run. Right, Scorpador, great to see you got the stream back. Yes, thank you. This is a relief, getting the stream back, getting everything running. I was just about ready to throw my PC through a window as we go back to this battle, and oh, there's some lag there, but it looks like Brett Wolford's into it. Now, just as I say I've got my PC back and working, I suddenly get this massive lag spike. That's excellent. Really great timing. As we see TJ Anders chasing Brett Wolford. Good moving from TJ Anders in the chase position there. Brett Wolford, he's given him the room for this transition this time, but you can see TJ Anders rate to angle through there much lower. But look at TJ Anders. He has got that front wheel tucked into the side of that Mustang, trying to keep up on the inside edge. Let's go back to the replay for that. That was a fantastic dive. Just managing his positioning there, this time by TJ Anders. Really good on these transitions. That S14.9, the James Dean Hero replica car from the Tsujigiri Pro Pack, doing the work for him here as he sends it up the inside. It's this next transition that had me gobsmacked. Look at this, holds the angle off and immediately gets into the side of Brett Wolford, but then just as there's the angle up, there's a little bit of a gap opening up. You can see that Mustang incredibly fast as we switch back round. We're good on the start line. This time, Brett Wolford will chase in TJ Anders as they come round off the start. TJ Anders in that lead position in the S14.9, goes for the flick initiation. Brett Wolford's right there, matching angle, but not managing to hold on to the same line. Angles up a little bit too much and just drops back on that proximity, but I think maybe TJ Anders just had a small wheel drop. But now look at this, Brett Wolford sending it up the inside, trying to get that proximity back. It looked like there might have been a lag bump there, but here we go. TJ Anders sends it across. This is where Brett Wolford's really going to have to bring the fight. Gets into that door, but immediately starts to lose ground and then surges back up onto the outside through Luna. And there's contact again as they cross the line. This is a battle. What a battle from these two drivers. See that proximity wavering a little bit from Brett Wolford in that chase position. This is going to come down to lead versus lead, chase versus chase for these drivers. We are not yet sure. There is not a clear-cut winner. It's always hard when the chances are left in the judges' hands. You've got to make that decision based on what you can see. Difficult call for the judges as they come firing through and out here onto this outside line, but you can see how fast the Mustang is around Luna. Do we have a result? Load it up. We can see judges deliberating. Still deliberating from the judges. They are obviously desperately unsure as to who was at fault for some of those. Whilst they're deliberating, let's go back and have a look at that replay again. See if there is anything to be decided between them. You can see this surge up the inside from Brett Wolford. Determined to get onto the door here. I'm not sure. It's going to come down to mistake versus mistake, I think, because you can see the speed in the Mustang through Luna here. Look how fast that car is across that latter section of the track. Still waiting on these judges' results. I think we're starting to see it drop in. And we are indeed. That's 2 for Brett Wolford. Caleb Dauphiney still undecided. Caleb Dauphiney says one more time, but it is not unanimous. 2-1. Brett Wolford gets the win. Brett Wolford advances on. I can understand the results going anyway in that particular instance. It is going to come entirely down to faults. And I think, personally, I'd have agreed with that one more time. I think those guys could have sent it again. But 2 of our judges today had a winner in their minds, and that was Brett Wolford in this instance. So we will now have to see Ronnie Irwin versus Dylan Fink. Who will face Brett Wolford in the top 16? So this is Ronnie Irwin to lead in, Dylan Fink to face Brett Wolford in the top 16. Ronnie Irwin in that, another one in the S14.9. I mean, this is crazy, isn't it? Because we've got basically the same battle again. S14.9 versus Mustang. This time, Ronnie Irwin in the lead position in the other Mustang. In the other S14.9, so Ronnie Irwin in that lead position in that S14.9, Dylan Fink in the chase position in the Mustang this time round, surging up onto that door in the rear quarter. Ronnie Irwin in the lead position, managing to get that under control, but that was their contact there. But again, guys, going off at 4. That's crazy to see that again. These guys will drive round. We're going to go back straight away and have a look at that replay. Let's have a look on the stream here. See it right from the start. Was there contact? Ronnie Irwin in the lead position in that S14.9 in the James Dean test livery, and Dylan Fink in the Mustang. This is where it's crucial. Ronnie Irwin just dropping a wheel there. Dylan Fink, does he make contact as they come through into this section here? Oh, it looks like there might have been. That is a tricky one to decide. It looks like there might have been a lag bump spike there as we go back round. This time, Dylan Fink going to be leading in. Ronnie Irwin, Dylan Fink in the lead position now in that purple Mustang. Ronnie Irwin in the chase in that white and Kevlar S14.9. They are off the line. Here we go. Look at that acceleration in the S14.9 by Ronnie Irwin, but Dylan Fink has managed to get himself back into that nicely here. Is Ronnie Irwin going to be able to maintain the proximity? We don't yet know who's at fault for that contact. The judges haven't yet decided. We don't know on the stream, as that's a huge send from Dylan Fink. Goes for the big angle, and Ronnie Irwin absolutely pegs it into the side of him. That is definitely a chase driver at fault. That is a decel zone. We'll go back to the replay and have a look at that straight away. This is adventurous. These guys absolutely determined to make their way through. Everyone in this competition wants that VDC license. As we go for this transition, watch here, Dylan Fink on a nice transition. This is the decel zone there, and Ronnie Irwin absolutely steams into the side of him. That is going to be so difficult for our judges to appoint blame. Let's have a look, see if there's anything there. I can already tell you that it has dropped in off stream. And there we go. It is unanimous. Dylan Fink gets the win. Dylan Fink will advance on that. That is absolutely bang on. That is probably a good shout. I think Dylan Fink there was absolutely in the right in that decel zone. Ronnie Irwin was determined to try and get back up into the fight. Really wanted to send it up the inside hard just in case he was at fault in that section. But Dylan Fink gets the win due to that error from the chase position for Ronnie Irwin. We're sad to see Ronnie go out. He is a good driver. We will definitely be seeing him back. In the meantime, let's have a look at how that bracket has shaped up now. This is what we're looking at. So we have one more group of 8 drivers to go. From that bracket, Austin Zalewski made it through to fight Robert Kwiaczynski in the top 16 and Brett Wolford against Dylan Fink. Still on the other side, we're expecting that from Daryl Diaz, Danielis Parangauskas, Jordan Fry versus Mark Pretty, Jacob Kadavi versus Artem Makushenko, Dmitry Mitin versus Stephen Jarboe. And still to come in this side of the bracket for the top 32, Mustafa Amini takes on Ernestus Jacoubelis, Connor Christensen takes on Josh McGleenan, Jamie Healy takes on Hayden Shepherd, and Darren Baker takes on Serban Mate. So, the first battle from that to come up is going to be Mustafa Amini to lead in Ernestus Jacoubelis. So Mustafa Amini is going to be coming up to the line first of all. That is what we're expecting to see next. These guys just driving into each other in that slowdown. They must remember that it's a big slowdown at 4. They do not need to be pushing that hard. It just doesn't need to be that aggressive. So let's have a look at these guys. We have got leading first of all, coming up on the left-hand side of your screen is Mustafa Amini. In the chase position, first of all, Ernestus Jacoubelis. He will be on the left side of your screen. I know it's a bit confusing when they're this way round, but Mustafa Amini will lead first. He will be on the right-hand side of your screen when he gets up to the line. Ernestus Jacoubelis to chase first. See how these guys get on. So, they're coming up to each other now. So just waiting for these guys on the line now. Macca Builds, good evening. How you doing, Macca? Good to have you along. It's Mumbles, thank you for the follow. F. Corey, thank you for the follow. Icklingy, I don't think I said it were you when you followed. Thank you very much for that. Enjoy Monkey, I don't know if I remember saying you either. Just waiting for these guys to get up to the line. Here you can see this lovely livery for Mustafa Amini here He's in that 2JZ powered RPS 13, the Stefan Stefanov replica. Lovely livery for him. He's going up against Anestis Jakublis, who is in the GT86 in the Tsujigiri livery. He's using one of our stock liveries for this competition. Did not want to have his own livery for the comp. But here we go. We can see these two facing off. First of all, from this last part of our top 32. Mustafa Amini feeling confident, I think, there. He has been one of our highest qualifiers every single time so far. Mustafa Amini warming up that RPS 13, determined to get some grip into those tyres, does not want to be left waiting too long on the line. Let's go straight to it. So, Mustafa Amini has control of things here. He is the first to lead in. They're under starters orders. They are underway. Mustafa Amini to lead in first. Anestis Jakublis in the chase position. Mustafa Amini goes for that big flick. Anestis Jakublis has to back out. He's not expecting that much of a slowdown. It is a decel zone as Mustafa Amini gets onto that outside line, railing in onto that outside edge. Now Anestis Jakublis goes for the send up the inside. That's a big swing in from Anestis Jakublis, trying to make sure that he uses the grip of that GT86 to get the proximity. But there's a mistake in that transition again. Maybe just too much of a discrepancy in speed. Anestis Jakublis not expecting Mustafa Amini to be that much slower than the amount of grip that he has dialed into that car. Look at that send up the inside. Every transition from Anestis Jakublis, but he's having to then back off afterwards. Here, look at that flick up. He almost rails into the back of Mustafa Amini as he gets onto that rear quarter. And then here again, that wobble, he has to then back out. He wants to be on throttle. You can see he's desperate to get on the gas there, but he just can't behind that slower car. And look at the speed that he makes up into that final section. Here's the question now. Error prone in that first run, but can Anestis Jakublis use that speed to totally break away from Mustafa Amini in this section? So, Anestis Jakublis off the line in the lead position this time. Mustafa Amini in the chase as they go for this dive. Mustafa Amini is going to have to come infield a little bit to keep the proximity. You can see how fast Anestis Jakublis is there as he makes that transition across. But Mustafa Amini is managing to hold up with him. He's managing to keep with him through this section. There's the dive, but you can see as soon as he's got time to stay on throttle, Anestis Jakublis is so fast. Mustafa Amini is going to have to do everything he can to try and stay with him, and he is. In the first part of Luna there, he's right up onto the quarter, but the gap's starting to open up. Is it going to be enough for Anestis Jakublis to have managed to get onto that front section? You can see here Mustafa Amini pulling out all the stops to maintain that proximity and get up onto the door. So, we go back to it. Mustafa Amini on the left-hand side of the screen. If it slides left, it's Mustafa Amini. If it slides right, it's Anestis Jakublis. Who do you think is going to get this, guys? In the chat there. Oh, I can already tell you that didn't take long at all. It is unanimous. Mustafa Amini gets the win from those errors for Anestis Jakublis in the back. That is such a shame. Mustafa Amini, it is always a shame to see Anestis Jakublis go out like that. He's a real competitor and he's fantastic value for the stream. We love talking to him. We love chatting with him. We love the way he drives. He's a really aggressive driver. But in this instance, over-aggression has cost him that battle with Mustafa Amini, and Mustafa, a deserving winner there, managing to get that slightly slower car right up onto the door. Now we move on. Connor Christensen in the S14.9 will lead in. Josh McGleenan on this battle as we go for this. Josh McGleenan in the chase position in the RPS 13 2JZ. And here we see, oh, that's a big flick. Oh, that's 4 wheels off for Connor Christensen. Did he send himself off track there or by himself, or was he hit? We'll have to go back to the replay and have a look as he struggles to get back into it. But Josh McGleenan now in the lead position after that error, and he's dropping wheels. This is not what we wanted to see from these guys in this stage of the competition. Hayden Christensen now gets exactly a chance to see how fast Josh McGleenan is in that lead position where he should not be seeing at the moment. So here's that moment. It looks to me like Hayden Christensen just goes off track by himself, makes the mistake and throws it all away without any assistance at all. Josh McGleenan in that lead position now, making his way through. We switch across to Josh McGleenan now in the lead position for the actual second half of this battle. It's all going to look very familiar just after that error from Hayden Christensen in that first section. So let's get back to it. They have switched around, or rather not switched around because they ended up the wrong way round anyway, and they are ready to go. McGleenan comes off the line in that lead point. Arcturus FPS contact on entry. No, well, I don't know. The judges will decide, but it didn't look to me in the replay like there was contact on entry. It looked to me like there might have been just a simple error from Hayden Christensen, as we now see Connor Christensen, as we now see Josh McGleenan in that lead position. Connor Christensen managing to keep right with him here. It's a fantastic chase run, only made possible by that good lead, but that is a fantastic, phenomenal bit of chase driving by Connor Christensen in that chase position. But it's all going to come down to who was actually at fault on that first run. As we go back to the replay, you can see right from the word go, Connor Christensen desperate to get up into that quarter, slightly inside line, struggling to maintain that proximity, but here, from here on, absolutely sends it up the inside, and especially coming into Luna, does all of the hard work to make sure that he is right in the pocket of Josh McGleenan coming into this final section. Let's have a look. Sliding right for Josh McGleenan. Sliding left for Connor Christensen. That's 2 votes. Oh, that's it. It's unanimous for Connor Christensen. Clearly the judges did decide that that was contact on entry. Connor Christensen gets the win. Obviously, the judges using their cameras, seeing more than me. I've got a little bit of latency down here in New Zealand. Josh McGleenan sadly throwing that away, hitting into the back of Connor Christensen on that first run. That is a shame. As we move on, so this last 2 battles of the top 32. First here, Jamie Healy in the GT86 on the right hand side of your screen, leading in. Hayden Shepherd on the left. Hayden Shepherd coming into this battle in the chase position, coming up onto it. Hayden Shepherd, an actual RTR driver, and oh, that was definitely contact on initiation. Hayden Shepherd going full Mustang, absolutely smashing into the side of Jamie Healy in that lead position. That was unnecessarily aggressive, totally uncalled for. Jamie Healy just backs out and drives his way round. Let's go back and have a look at that on the replay. Hayden, Jesus. Hayden Shepherd absolutely sent it into the side of him. Look at that contact. That was... wow. Fun was definitely had. You are right on that. Live Fast in the chat on the Twitch. That was... yes, that was a thing. I think we all can see that that was definitely an error from the chase position coming into that first section. Hayden Christensen in his first... Hayden Shepherd. I will get those 2 right at some point. Connor Christensen, Hayden Shepherd. Hayden Shepherd just getting his enthusiasm up too high for that first run. He will now lead, having gone maximum Mustang straight into the side of Jamie Healy on that first corner from the chase position. He will now lead. Jamie Healy will give him room to do more Mustang things as we see Hayden Shepherd flicks it in. Jamie Healy takes the sensible approach and just gives him the room, does not need to be pushing hard. He will know very full well that he was absolutely staved into from behind, and you can see the speed difference. That GT86 struggling, as Hayden Shepherd throws it more wheels off. That Mustang looking for a crowd to murder somewhere on the infield at Three Sisters, unable to find one, so goes looking again in a different part of the track. Look at this from Jamie Healy though, manages to keep up all the way round and across the line. You can see that it's all started to come undone for Hayden Shepherd in this run. I do not think, and I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again, but in this instance, I do not think that Hayden Shepherd is going to be able to overcome that error from run 1 and then from run 2. Jamie Healy on the left. Hayden Shepherd, for some reason, his screen not loading on that right-hand side, waiting for the judges' results. And it is unanimous. Hayden Shepherd's enthusiasm and his Mustang's desire to go and murder people has overcome everything else. Jamie Healy gets the win off that unforced error in run 1. And we will move on to find out now who Jamie Healy is going to be facing in the top 32. In the top 16. Who is it going to be? Let's move on. The last part of this bracket, Darren Baker to lead in Serban Matei. Darren Baker in the RPS 13 2J. It's going to be 2J versus 2J. RPS 13 versus the S14.9 replica of the James Dean car here. Both of these drivers ready to go on the line. Here we go. This is Darren Baker leading in Serban Matei. Serban Matei in the chase position, tries to send it up the inside into turn 1. Darren Baker not quite onto that full wide outside line, but look at Serban Matei having to ride that left foot brake to try and stay in on that proximity without overrunning Darren Baker. Darren Baker on a lovely line through there, but look at the rotation from Serban Matei, sending it up the inside, perfectly synchronized on the way that he's changing direction. Now, is this where we see the difference in the overall grip level of the 14.9 versus the RPS 13? You can see Serban Matei absolutely glued to the door of Darren Baker there as they came through Luna. That was a phenomenal chase run from Serban Matei. I'm enjoying the questions on the YouTube, asking if I'm eating nuts or sausage again. This time I've gone maximum British. I'm having scones. It is 10:49 in the morning here. I have not had breakfast until now. As we go back to the start, this is now Serban Matei leading in Darren Baker. This is our last battle of the top 32. Darren Baker is determined to try and stick it to the outside edge of Serban Matei as Serban Matei fires across onto the outer zone at 2. Look at the control of Serban Matei going for that big transition flick now into the outer zone, but Darren Baker's right there. We were not expecting the speed difference to switch around back in favour. Is Darren Baker going to be able to contain that angle all the way up onto Serban Matei's door? He's doing an exact replica. I can see this going one more time. Look at that run from Darren Baker and Serban Matei. Lead versus lead, chase versus chase. That was absolutely phenomenal. Nicholas Duncan, thank you for the like. So guys, this one's going to be close. The only thing I can see there maybe on that power alley. A little bit more of a gap from Darren Baker to Serban Matei than when they were back the other way round. But that is one hell of a run from both of those guys. BLG Buds, thank you for the follow. Welcome along. Yeah, damn indeed. I totally agree. Heartbeat Yayu, you from New Zealand? I'm from the UK, living in New Zealand. So, do we have a result here? Slide him left for Darren Baker, right for Serban Matei. Still waiting on our judges to deliberate on this one. While we're waiting on that, let's go back to the replay. Oh, and just as I go back to the replay, I can confirm that that has gone one more time. We're going to see them go at it again. It has just flashed up one more time. Let me transition across so you can see that. One more time from all three of our judges. It is unanimous. We're going to rerun the fun from the top. Let's see it one more time. Darren Baker to lead in Serban Matei. This one's going to be fascinating. These guys both pushing hard. This is probably the most even battle in terms of quality of driving, lead versus lead, chase versus chase that we've seen. So that has gone one more time as we're just waiting for these guys to load
Even
back
if it
in.
isn't, then it is what it is.
Okay, so we're just hearing a small delay while we're waiting for the judges to get set up again. One more time for these guys. So Darren Baker to lead in, the man from Ireland to lead in, Serban Matei, who's currently living in Coventry in the UK. Here we go, they're coming back up to the line. So this is going one more time. Who do you think is going to get this now? This time, guys, we're going one more time. We're rerunning the fun. Darren Baker to lead in Serban Matei. Let's find out how this is going to go. Scores on the doors, guys. What do you think? Everyone in the chats, everyone watching, who do you think is going to take this one more time as Darren Baker leads in Serban Matei? They're under starters orders, ready to go. And as Unger, our start line marshal, has them under starters orders, he will light up what the drivers have become known as the dildo of destiny, that start line semaphore. 3 reds and a green. On the green light, they will go for this one more time, the deciding battle of this top 32. Both of these guys, clearly phenomenal drivers, ready to push as hard as possible, ready to send it up onto the door. Here we go, the lights are on. That is a green light. Darren Baker to lead. Serban Matei in the chase position. 2 JZs under both of these hoods. That RPS 13, a replica of the Stefan Stefanov BDC car. The chase car is that James Dean replica of his RDS S14.9, and we're seeing Serban Matei sending it right up onto the door straight away. Look at that transition. Big flicks from both of those guys, and Serban Matei's right in contest. He's going to send it up the inside as we go into Luna. Look at that from Serban Matei, but Darren Baker seems to have found a little bit more speed. He's found it from somewhere as Serban Matei isn't able to quite get the same proximity as he comes round and across the line. Let's go back and look at that. Oh my God, I'm going to bust a blood vessel. Look at these guys go at it toe to toe. This should be a final. This is some hard-hitting stuff from both of these guys. Phenomenal runs. As they come back round, we are ready on the start line for the second half of this one more time. Serban Matei. Off the line. Darren Baker determined not to let Serban Matei get away from him, managing to leap off that start, but Serban Matei's gone for the flick. It's a slower rotation to angle than Darren Baker was doing, but Serban Matei's locked into that outside line. Now onto the outside zone at 2. Little bit of a gap opening up. Darren Baker seems to be struggling to keep with Serban Matei this time, and the timing on the transition maybe not quite as clear. Serban Matei absolutely filled every single last millimetre of clip 4. Comes up a little short on 5, but Darren Baker, look at Darren Baker right into the rear quarter of Serban Matei, all the way through Luna. This is a super aggressive run from both of these guys. Do we have a winner? Let's go back to the replay and have a look. That is so aggressive from both drivers. Do we have a winner from this battle? This is the question. As Serban Matei fires in onto that outside zone, his lead line may be a little bit better than Darren Baker's. But that chase from Darren Baker through Luna is one of the best we've seen all day. Waiting on those judges' results, waiting for them to drop in. Who gets the win? Sliding left for Darren Baker, right for Serban Matei, or could we see another one more time? Phenomenally close run from all of our drivers in these latter parts of the top 32. It's been an exciting top 32, which I always think is a great testament to how well the judges have done on their qualifying scores. Nicholas Duncan, thank you for the share. You only get tight, aggressive top 32s. Oh, we got one more time. 2 one more times. They're going at it again, folks. This is another rerun of the same fun. We're going to do it all again from the top for a second time. We go one more time with these 2 drivers. Wow. So we're back on the start line. Let's have a look at this. They're going to rerun the fun one more time. You can see how close it is as Darren Baker gets off the line in the lead position. Serban Matei is waiting. Firing in onto that outside edge. Sends it up the inside now from Serban Matei. He's trying to make sure that Darren Baker doesn't manage to get an overturn on this lead run as he sends it. Serban Matei determined to keep that proximity absolutely everywhere. This is exactly the kind of run you'd want to see from a top 4 or final 4 or even the final itself, as Serban Matei gets that wider outside line, managing to keep the proximity despite being on the wider outside line. Look at that from Serban Matei, but Darren Baker giving him a lead that he can absolutely stick with. That is phenomenal from both of those guys. Look at that send. Serban Matei rotating slower to angle on that one just to make sure that he keeps that proximity really determined. You can see how evenly matched these guys are, but Serban Matei managing to keep that proximity despite being on the wider line. That's definitely going to be a tick in his favour, but he can only do that because Darren Baker is on that perfect lead line, absolutely locked in, full speed, ready to go. They're back under starters' orders. We have swapped them around. This time it is Serban Matei who will lead on this second Rerun of the fun. We're one more time all over again as Serban Matei rotates slowly to angle there. Darren Baker sends it hard up the inside. A little bit of a gap there opening up. It's going to come down to the absolute minutiae of this run. Is Darren Baker going to be able to send it up onto the door of Serban Matei the same way that Serban Matei did before? Serban on that absolutely brilliant outside lead line. Look at him filling zones 4 and 5. Darren Baker slotting up onto the outside line again. Serban Matei is pretty much a carbon copy of their last battle. Look at that from both of these drivers. What a thing to watch. Now this is pod racing. What a phenomenal drive by both of these guys. Let's see how this is going to go. This is a phenomenal setup from both of these guys here. Brilliant, brilliant runs from each of them. Absolutely phenomenal. Do we have a winner this time round? Or do we think it could go one more time yet again? You guys at home, do you have a winner? Who's there in your mind that you can see? Okay. Oh, we have a winner. It looks like we have a winner. It is unanimous after all of that. Darren Baker gets the win, knocking out Serban Matei. Darren Baker goes on to face Jamie Healy, an all-Irish top 16. Darren Baker just overcoming Serban Matei on their third toe-to-toe fight there. They went one more time, twice, and even then, do you know, I think that could have gone again. Absolutely finest line possible between both of those drivers. But that means we now know the full shape of our top 16, and it looks like this. Daryl Diaz taking on Danielis Paringauskas, Jordan Fry taking on Mark Pretty, Jakub Kadavi taking on Artem Makushenko, Dmitry Mitin taking on Stephen Jarboe, and on the other side of the bracket, Austin Zalewski taking on Robert Kaczynski, Brett Wolford taking on Dylan Fink, Mustafa Amini taking on Connor Christensen, and Jamie Healy taking on Darren Baker for the pride of the Irish. This is... wow. What a set of battles we have had all the way through there. That has been absolutely phenomenal. Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to get joined in the chat by a co-commentator in the shape of the recently ejected from the competition, Josh Oxley. Let me bring him down and in. Josh Oxley, welcome along. Sorry. Hello, Josh.
Check 1 2, check 1 2. Can you hear me?
I can indeed hear you. Thank you for coming and joining us. Congratulations on making it to the top 32. Sad to see your battle went the way that it went. Care to talk us through it while we're waiting for these guys to load in?
It's always better luck next time. I mean, I'm happy I've made it in the first place.
Yep, that's absolutely fair. I thought it was good, and it was a really close decision. Very, very almost went down the other way, or even I could hear them talking. They were talking about going one more time for you. So that is definitely a real accolade, because Jordan has been on a tear all since the start of the season. So to have taken him almost to a one more time is a real achievement.
Yeah, I'm just kind of kicking myself with the little mistake that I had on the last transition into, you know, when you have to open the taps. But, oh well, I learned my lesson, and hopefully I'll qualify again, and my next goal is top 16. So, nothing but up, right?
Absolutely. And in the meantime, we've got some great drifting to watch here in the meantime. So, the first one up today, that is going to be Daryl Diaz taking on Danielis Paringauskas.
Oh man, I mean,
So-
for the top 16, I'm expecting these guys to bloody kill each other. I'm not literally, but you know, glued to each other's doors. I want to see a full send. That's all
Absolutely.
I want to see.
Absolutely. So Daryl Diaz has lined up in the lead position in that S14.9. Danielis Parangauskas is in the RPS 13. 2J versus 2J. Again, like the last battle we had, the lights go green from Anders Unger. Daryl Diaz leads them in. They come off the line, absolutely flying into that initiation. Daryl Diaz gets onto that handbrake nice and early, gets it out to outer zone 1. Doesn't quite fulfill it as much as he has done before, but look at that transition. You can see he wants this. That car is set up for super speed and super aggression as he goes through the transition. Danielis Parangauskas tries to send it up his inside, gets right onto the inside edge. Then, as we go back through here onto the outside edge at Luna, Danielis Parangauskas managing to keep with him all the way through this section, round and across the line, but not quite as much proximity as we have expected before. Let's go across to the replay. Josh.
Alrighty, looks like Dowday's had an alright initiation. He wasn't that deep, but he actually was deep enough to fill that outside zone. But as for... Oh boy, I'm going to butcher the name.
Danielis.
Is it? Danielis. Alright, Danielis, thank you. So Danielis, he was on him from time to time, but hits it and quits it. And Daryl Diaz, just being an one qualified that is doing what he needs to do in the lead. While Danielis, he was on the door, but he kind of left them points on the table, so there could be a bit of an advantage for Daryl Diaz leading up into the second half of the run here. So we're going to see him go again in the second half. It's going to be Daryl that's going to be chasing. Danielis, he's going to be in control for the lead run, leading up. And it's to be under starter's orders for the lights to extinguish. Ben, I think you might be muted there, mate. I don't think I can hear you. And I don't think the stream can hear you either.
Yeah, so I was shouting into the void there. I was shouting as hard as possible and there was absolutely nothing happening.
I was wondering why it's all quiet. You're leaving me hanging there, Ben.
Yep, so all that happened there was I was just shouting enthusiastically into the void over the fact that they were absolutely going at it and nothing was happening. Either way,
Yep.
we have potentially got our results. Just waiting for them to drop in. Daryl Diaz versus Danielis Parangauskas. Sliding left for Daryl Diaz, sliding right for Danielis Parangauskas. Let's have a look at this. That's one vote for Daryl Diaz. Still waiting for decision on Bobby
The
and Chris.
suspense is killing me.
One vote for Daryl Diaz still. That's where we're holding. Two votes for Daryl Diaz. It's unanimous. Daryl Diaz gets the win and advances on to the next part of the battles. That is Daryl Diaz through to the Great 8. Danielis Parangauskas, sadly, his day ends there. But Daryl Diaz advances on to the Great 8. Who will he face as we come up next? Jordan Fry versus Mark Pretty. This one's going to feel a little bit sore for you, Josh, as Jordan Fry obviously was the driver who knocked you out in the top 32.
Well, I'm hoping my fellow Aussie, Mark Pretty, would actually avenge me. Come on, Anzacs. You can do it.
Anzacs for victory.
Totally not being biased, but it's okay.
So these are two very good drivers. Jordan Fry has been looking incredibly fast. Mark Pretty has been getting that car dialed in. He's also managed to get good legs out of that 14.9. They are ready on the line with Anders Unger, our start line marshal. As the light goes green on the Dildo of Destiny, Jordan Fry comes off the line, firing down on this initiation. He's going to be onto that left-hand flick, but look at Mark Pretty firing up onto that rear quarter, trying to keep that car wrangled in. The dive is good from Mark Pretty, but as soon as Jordan Fry gets on the throttle, he just starts to open up that gap, although Jordan dropping tyres at clip 2 and a tyre over the inside edge on the power alley. Jordan Fry, absolutely the fastest man on track right now, but Mark Pretty's managed to keep with him, and as I say that, Mark Pretty gets right up into the rear quarter, looking really strong through Luna, little bit of a wobble at the end, and across the line.
Alrighty. So, looks like Jordan makes a nice initiation, but it could have had a little bit more angle on the entry there. But Mark is looking pretty good in the chase, although he kind of left a few points on the table in the chase, kind of had a little bit of a car gap, but he manages to charge us right up on the door where he needs to. Jordan did what he needed to do in the chase, or lead, excuse me. While he did make some mistakes, dropping a few tyres here and there, but we'll see what happens in the second half of the battle, as Mark Pretty is going to be in control for the lead in the second half of this battle.
Absolutely, and they are back on the line, ready to go. Mark Pretty's on the left-hand side of the start line, right-hand side of your screen as you see it. Jordan Fry lines up in that white liveried GT86. Mark Pretty off the line. Jordan Fry is going to try and absolutely rail it to him as they go for this initiation. Very strong send from Jordan Fry, gets maximum angle, but then has to back it out a little bit. Mark Pretty's absolutely railed to that outside edge as he comes through too. Opening up a bit of a gap here, but Jordan Fry's going to go on the send into that decel, and he does indeed as Mark Pretty overshoots, just drops a tyre at clip 4. Jordan Fry now back up onto the door, so that's a tyre drop apiece as Mark Pretty tries to get it dialed in all the way through Luna, and Jordan Fry's back up onto that quarter. Look at the proximity from Jordan Fry in the last part of that corner. Wow.
Well, it looks like Mark was kind of off that outside zone a little bit, but he manages to fill it up at the end, and they transitioned together into the second outside zone. He's looking like he's on rails right now, but Jordan was just keeping it on Mark's door all the way through. But Mark might have had a bit of a mistake there, dropping a tyre there. That could have cost him the win for that one. But as for Mark, though, I'll be honest, I'm a little bit biased with him because he was an old friend from the Forza days, when we used to compete on Forza before moving on to Assetto Corsa. Funny enough, actually. And yeah, he was definitely good in his field there. And as for me and him, we're basically transitioning to Assetto Corsa now. So yeah, still trying to get better, but we're definitely starting to show our colours. I can definitely see it with Mark this time, but maybe that tyre drop could cost him the win, and we could see Jordan on top for this one.
Absolutely, but it could go either way, but Jordan also had that tyre drop into the first corner. Into the second corner, so it could go either way.
And there's little Jordan Fry in the picture there. He looks tiny.
And it's a one more time, a unanimous one more time from all of our judges there. They are going at it again. We're going to rerun the fun. All of them are going at it again, so we get to see that battle one more time. Rerun the fun. We're going back. Jordan Fry is going to lead again. Mark Pretty to chase as we go back to rerun this top 16.
Come on, Ozzy, come on.
There's only a little bit of bias.
Yeah, I'm just going because he's another Aussie like me, so I gotta have to go for him. Sorry, Jordan.
So here they are, the lights go green, and off the line comes Jordan Fry in that lead position. Mark Pretty's going to absolutely send it. He will know that he needs to really bring the heat here. Jordan Fry needs a run that doesn't feature that wheel drop at 2, but there was a tiny scuff at the end of 1 there, although that transition into 2 was mighty. Look at the way he's throwing that car around. This is the power alley now where Mark Pretty's going to have to send onto the inside, and he does. Really aggressive drive from Mark Pretty, but he's almost got hung up on the inside. That's going to cost him on that transition into 5, but he's managing to hold with Jordan Fry, losing a bit of that angle, but powering up onto the door. Here he goes through and across the line. Let's have a look at that on the replay.
Alrighty, there's the first initiation in the first corner they go. John, again, filling out that outside zone pretty well, but Mark is definitely not having it. He's going to keep it on the door, although he kind of was a little bit of half a car away, but he manages to charge right up on the door when he needs to. But as for Jordan, no, he's looking really strong in that lead. He's definitely fixed up his run here in the OMT, and he's definitely out for blood. As Mark Pretty, though, kind of keeps it on the door. So Jordan has to keep the fight to him in the chase, or we could see Mark Pretty on top.
Not that that would please you at all.
Yeah.
As we go back to the start, that's Mark Pretty in that purple S14.9. Jordan Fry in the chase position as they come round and off the line. Mark Pretty going for that flick initiation again. Jordan Fry's right there with him. Jordan goes for that high angle. Mark Pretty fails to fill out outer zone 1 quite as much as he has done on the past few, but Jordan Fry's locked in with him there, just allowing that gap to open up from that slightly strange line that Mark Pretty's on. It could already all be over, but it's got to be completed this run as Mark Pretty sends up the inside. Now Jordan Fry's right there with him, keeping that angle off, and look at the proximity from Jordan Fry as he gets right up onto the front quarter of Mark Pretty as they go through Luna and across the line. Well now, what a thing we've witnessed, Josh.
Alright, as they initiate in the first corner, as I'm watching a little bit late, but yeah, Mark wasn't looking pretty good in that that first outside zone there. I had to make that fun. But yeah, he kind of fixes up for the rest of it, but that could be already too late because Jordan, he was doing what he needs to do in the chase. He was all over him, sticking to the door, especially in that last bit when they're absolutely opening the taps. I mean, I had my experience with Jordan. He was tapping me all the way through. Glad I took it like a champ, though.
514 Burke, thank you for the follow as we go over to the judges' results. Let's see what's happening. Sliding left for Jordan Fry, sliding right for Mark Pretty. Waiting on these judges' results to drop in.
So will Mark stand Pretty on top, or will Jordan chuck Mark in the deep fryer?
Oh, there's one vote going left for Jordan Fry as the puns start rolling. That's 2 votes for Jordan Fry. Jordan Fry gets the win. I have to say, I'm not surprised. Sadly for Mark Pretty, he just didn't fill that outer zone at 1 the way he needs to, but it's going to be a fascinating battle to see the very fast drivings of Jordan Fry and Daryl Diaz. That is going to be a phenomenal Great 8 that we have got coming up for you next. In the meantime, we move across. Jakub Kadavi versus Artem Makashenko. Jakub Kadavi to lead in first. He's in that S13 with the 2JZ under the bonnet. As we go back, let's switch you guys across so you can see what's going on. This is it. Jakub Kadavi in that RPS 13, 2JZ under the bonnet versus Artem Makashenko, one of our last remaining E92 drivers in that it's not a 2JZ at all. It is in actual fact an N54 B30 turbo engine, and that is hugely powerful. It's the most powerful car in the pack, and you can see that from the way he gets off the line. Artem Makashenko absolutely diving up onto the front of Jakub Kadavi there. He was about 3 car lengths ahead of him as they left the starting grid, and now Artem Makashenko trying to reel himself back in onto Jakub Kadavi. Jakub Kadavi on a great line, maybe just a small wheel drop there at 4, but fires it back across into the outer zone at 5. Artem Makashenko gets up onto that rear quarter, but look at that gap, a little gap opening up through Luna. Not what we were expecting, but then the E92 gets back into the battle and gets up onto the door as they cross the line.
Oh, I could see that E92 kind of almost made the same mistake that I made back in Sekia Hills when it was my first time in Tsujigiri. He kind of pulled away a little bit, you know, in the chase, which you kind of don't want to do that. You want to make sure you're behind that lead driver. As for Jakub, though, he was just chilling. He's going for a nice Sunday cruise as he's cruising across the outside zones and outside clips and across the line, looking very strong in that lead. As for Artem, well, be at a disadvantage slightly, but he was all over him near the end.
He did manage to reel him back in as he got over towards the last part of that line. Artem Makashenko was really pushing hard and now will lead. Can he open up a gap on Jakub Kadavi using that really powerful E92 as they go for the flick initiation? Artem Makashenko right onto that outside line. I don't think we've seen anyone wider through turn 1 than we did just then. Artem Makashenko really throwing it down, but look at Jakub Kadavi managing to stay right with him through clip 2. Now goes for the send up into the inside at clip 4. This transition going to be crucial because that E92 will be so fast through Luna through this final corner, but Jakub Kadavi's right with him. Artem Makashenko has a shadow as they go across the line. What a fantastic run from both of those guys.
Oh man, you couldn't really fit a piece of paper on that outside there. As Artem with that E92 making that outside zone look like a breeze there. But as for Jakub though, he was doing what he needs to do, utilising that absolutely amazing lead run that Artem was putting down and was all over that door near the end of that run. But I would say we could be seeing Jakub on top for this one. Probably due to maybe a little bit of mistakes that Artem made in his chase run.
So let's see. Is it going to be right for Jakub Kadavi, left for Artem Makashenko? Let's find out. As we wait for the judges' score to drop in. Shiku, thank you for the follow. Kissing Kelly, thank you for the follow. Welcome along. Good to have you here. Let's have a look as we go on.
Find out next time on Jeez, imagine leaving people on suspense. It's like, we'll find out the decision next week. Goodbye.
Let's have a look. Still waiting for these scores to drop in. Our judge is still obviously deliberating. Oh, we're starting to see one. I can see that. That is one movement left for Artem Makashenko. Caleb Dauphin votes. Oh, that's 2. That is Artem Makashenko gets the win. Artem Makashenko, is it going to be unanimous? It doesn't matter now. Artem Makashenko has got the win. But Jakub Kadavi was absolutely on fire in that chase. You can just see, though, that Artem Makashenko's lead, that was the thing that made that so chaseable, right on the outside line all the way through turn 1. And I can confirm it is unanimous. That is Chris as well, has all slid left. That is Artem Makashenko's absolute win.
That surprised me. Well, there must have been something I didn't say. I'm probably blind. I need my glasses, I think.
So, as we move on, let's have a look now. This is Dmitry Mitin versus Steven Jarboe. Dmitry Mitin is going to be in the lead first. Steven Jarboe should be chasing.
This one's going to be interesting. Steven, also, if I can remember, was also one of the Forza boys as well. So that's pretty cool. See some of the old Forza lads that I know competing in this as well. I think you're yelling in the void again, Ben.
I'm not yelling in the void. I'm just waiting for these guys to line up.
Okay. It's all good. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. So they are underway, and that is Steven Jarboe in the lead position first as they come off the line. Steven Jarboe going for that flick initiation up onto the outside line. Really hard lead from Steven Jarboe. Look at the speed. Oh, I've got connection issues as he's just gone for that transition. Steven Jarboe in the lead position goes for that big flick. You can see how much grip that S15 has. Absolutely railed to the outside line. The throttle is down all the way through. And you can see here, though, it doesn't seem to matter at all as Steven Jarboe has got his shadow. And as I say that, Dmitry Mitin finally starts to drop back. Dmitry Mitin just losing out to Steven Jarboe in the early part of that section. as they come into
looks like
Luna.
Stephen
Sorry,
Whoa.
go on.
Whoa. I was just watching the replay now. I was like, oh man, Stephen had a bit of a teleport there.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting what the judges saw there, because obviously that was a point which would have been crucial. It does look like we rejoin him with the tyre slightly off, but that's going to be fascinating to see what the judges saw that we maybe didn't see there. As we go back now, Dimitri Mitin's going to lead in. Dimitri Mitin on the line in the lead position. RPS13 2J versus S15 2J. They're on very different setups, these cars. The knuckles underneath them. The S15 is on a Nakamura style knuckle. It's a hyper knuckle in the UK. Very low trail, very snappy, very aggressive, quite hard to drive, but when it's on the limit, it is an absolutely fantastic setup, and it gives so much more snap in the lead and in the chase. But the smoothness of the Wisefab style setup underneath that Stefan Stefanov replica as they go for that initiation could come through for Dimitri Mitin here now, as Dimitri Mitin rides that outside line. Stephen Jarbeau gets the send all over again. He is the only man in this competition who has made it to the top 32 on a car that's running the low trail knuckle, but he is using that to full effect. Look at the grip he gets through that transition. That car is so aggressive round this small Wigan track of Three Sisters, and he's right up into the rear quarter of Dimitri Mitin as they go across the line. What a fantastic run from both drivers.
Now that is the Stephen that I know from a year ago, as he is chasing Dimitri all over the door there. But Dimitri definitely putting down a lead line for Jarbeau to chase, and he's looking good at that too. And as for Stephen though, he might have left a few points on the table here and there, but he definitely charged up on the door when he needed to. And as for Dimitri, get a clean lead run. This could be a very close one for sure.
Absolutely right. Let's see, Josh. We're going over to the battle results now. Sliding right for Dimitri Mitin, sliding left for Stephen Jarbeau. Which way do you think it's going to go, Josh? Seeing as we have absolutely no control over the situation, what's your vote?
I have no idea. I'm glad I'm not a judge. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, it could go Dimitri, mostly because maybe the initiation that Stephen done in the lead, he kind of had a little bit of a bubble as he initiated in the lead. That could cost him. But overall though, the chases seemed a bit even from what I've seen. So we could be seeing it one more time, potentially. It's USA versus Russia.
The classic enemies facing off against each other. It's the Cold War all over again. That's one vote for Stephen Jarbeau sliding across. Is it going to be Stephen Jarbeau using the snappiness of that S15 to his advantage? Yes, it is. Chris Ennis gives it to Stephen Jarbeau as well. Is it going to be unanimous? Just waiting for it to drop in from our last judge. Not that it matters at this point. It is unanimous, however. Stephen Jarbeau, who was not one of our highest qualifiers, but has now managed to make his way through into that great 8. Well done, Stephen Jarbeau, the only man in competition using that low trail setup. And this track, absolutely perfect for him round here with that setup. Phenomenal driving by him there, using that snappiness and the way the car is moving through those transitions to get the most out of that car. Let's have a look at how the bracket has shaped up as a result of that. Daryl Diaz will take on Jordan Fry. That has the potential for being the battle of the ages as Artem Makashenko takes on Stephen Jarbeau. Two very different car setups there are going to be causing some interesting things in the Great 8. However, we still have half of our top 16 yet to come. Austin Zalewski taking on Robert Kwiczynski, Brett Wolford taking on Dylan Fink, Mustafa Amini taking on Connor Christensen, and Jamie Healy with Darren Baker. That is going to be an all-Irish final battle at the end of the top 16. Josh, thoughts on who we could see going through from these next 8 drivers? Who are you expecting to make that Great 8?
I think Austin, I mean, he's a bloody robot. I practiced with him before, and he looked absolutely amazing. We could see him in the top 8 for sure. Now, Brett and Dylan Fink, I think they are teammates, actually. So that one might be a close one, so I'm not 100% sure. Mustafa and Connor, not too sure. I haven't exactly seen them two drive much. I never really got a chance to practice with them, so that one's up in the air. Now, Jamie Healy, well, knowing him, he's on form, and also Darren Baker. So that's going to be a all-out war to get to the top 8.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. I think this is going to be a fantastic run, as the first battle we see is going to be Austin Zalewski versus Robert Kwaczynski. That is who we have first. Coming in onto that top section of the battle tree on the right hand side. Should be good to see how this goes. Let's move straight on into this. It looks like we've got all of our drivers loaded in. Robert Kwaczynski to chase in Adam Zalewski. Sorry, Austin Zalewski. That's because there's Adam Zalewski in DMEC. I keep on calling Austin Zalewski Adam Zalewski, although I don't think he'll complain too much, seeing as Adam Zalewski's regularly on the podium at DMEC. But Austin Zalewski will be taking that lead position first of all. This has all of the hallmarks of being a fantastic battle. Let's see how it's going to shape out. I agree with you though, Josh. I think we've got some great ones here. What's your prediction? We've got a long way to go, but a prediction for the finals at this time. Thanks for the host, Brandon, by the way. Thank you for coming along again. Good to see you.
That's a bit early to ask that one. Oh, God. I mean, I'm just going to go with my gut because Daryl Diaz has done one qualifier, so we could see him in the finals. Although Jordan Fry is looking absolutely quick, so we could see him in that too. As for the other half, I mean, I would say Artem, with that fantastic lead run that he did before, he's probably fired up now, I would say. So, could see Artem in there. Sorry, Stephen. Now, for the other half, Austin, I'm just going to say Austin Zalewski. Again, high qualifier. Just going with my gut. And Darren Baker. I might see those 4 drivers in the finals.
Interesting. Well, we're going to find out very soon, as Adam Zalewski is on the line, ready to go. Robert Kwaczynski is in that chase position. They are ready on the line. They are under starters' orders. Their lights are going green. This is Austin Zalewski leading in Robert Kwaczynski. Austin Zalewski goes for that flick into the outside line. Nice positioning from him. Not quite filling that clip as much as he'd like, and Robert Kwaczynski is able to take full advantage of that and get right up onto his inside left quarter. Now we come into the power alley. This is where it's going to be crucial, but it looks like maybe that was some blocking of the transition by Robert Kwaczynski. We're going to have to go back and see that on the replay, as Austin Zalewski sends it hard across into outer zone 5, and then Robert Kwaczynski gets right back into the fight as they come through Luna, out to clip 7 and across the line. Let's go back to that replay and have a look. Josh, let me know if you think that looks like contact as they come through 3.
All right, so it's on the first corner at the moment. Austin's looking probably not 100% into that outside zone, but he's still got both tyres in there, so he's there for sure. Oh, okay, that is a very interesting incident right there. Like, I need to look at that again.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. You'll be able to go back onto the replay with that one and have a look again in a second. But we're just getting them back onto the start line. Let's have a look at this. They are back on the start. They have switched around. It is Robert Kwaczynski to lead in Austin Zalewski. Austin Zalewski in the chase position in that 2J RP S13, chasing down that very fast Toyota of Robert Kwaczynski. coming off the line now. Robert Kaczynski in that GT86 with the 2J under the hood, goes for that flick initiation, and there comes Austin Zalewski right up into the pocket, sends it up onto his quarter, just lick the stamp and send it right the way through that first corner. Now, this is where we started to see that weirdness in the first run. Are we going to see it here? No. Austin Zalewski leaves room all the way through there. We're going to come down to the judges to see who was at fault through that first run as they send it back through onto the transition, hard on the power coming out onto the outside zone at clips 6 and 7, coming up and across the line. What a chase run that was by Austin Zalewski.
Oh man, Austin just right up on the door there. And meanwhile, as Robert though, he is keeping that lead run nice and clean for Austin to chase very easily, because you can't have a good chase without a good lead. There might have been slight contact on that outside zone there, on that second transition. Third transition, excuse me. Wow, I'm stuttering. But yeah,
it's just so exciting.
Now,
this is the thing.
There, I look at that contact there, though, from the previous first run. I'm thinking it might have been Robert just not giving enough room for Austin to transition, which might have caused that little incident there.
Well, we're going to find out. We are waiting on the judges' review. Let's see what gets said. As we wait for these scores to drop in.
Again, I'm glad I'm not the judge.
Yeah, it is a difficult one to judge this, I think. As we start to see the judges clearly deliberating on this one, determined to give us a good result, taking their time as they well should. They are absolutely allowed to do so. Still waiting on the judges' results. Good grief, look at this.
I think they're just making sure that Austin wasn't on the brakes before that transition in the power alley, I think. Just to double check. But yeah, that's those controversial ones that I judged before. I never really judged qualifying, no, but I judged battles, and controversial decisions like these are the ones I really despise judging. Just trying to make the right decision that you think is right, and there's always going to be the other side saying that you're wrong and the other side saying that you're right, and you can't make everyone happy.
Absolutely,
it's a judge decision.
Kermit the Frog won. Hi ho, Kermit the Frog. Thank you for the follow.
Oh man.
Still waiting on this judge's decision. Let's go back if they're having to deliberate this hard. Was there? Oh, no, just as I was about to flick us across, I can see that as two judges have slid across in favour of Austin Zalewski. I'm so sorry, Austin. I will get it right eventually, just maybe not anytime soon. Austin Zalewski has got it, but the third vote is for a one more time, but Austin Zalewski gets the win and makes it through to the Great 8. Well done to him. That was a fantastically close battle. I can see both sides of that argument. To me, that did look like that was contact coming through that clip, but we will have to wait and see. We can go across to the judges. In fact, let's do that now. I'm going to leave you here, Josh. I'm going to go across to the judges and get an opinion.
Oh, there is a Ben in the chat.
Hello, gentlemen. I just wanted to drop in and get an opinion from you on that last run before we moved on, because obviously it was a split decision. Two of you saying one more time. Two of you saying Austin Zalewski and one of you saying one more time. Can you just care to break that down for us, someone?
Well, I suppose that would be on me, because I'm the person going for one more time. I think what made me go for one more time is the fact that in chase, I feel that
Austin.
Oh, sorry. There you go. So Austin could have definitely avoided losing a lot of his angle, almost straightening out, in clip 5, I believe. And I feel that sort of both drivers made enough mistakes for me not to be able to pick a clear winner. So that is the main reason why I went with one more time.
That's fair enough. Thank you very much.
You guys can say why.
Yeah,
where you make
for
your
me,
decision.
there was nothing in Austin's chase run that overturned the contact when Austin was leading, and that was simply it, really.
That makes perfect sense. But as we had that split decision, just wanted to come down to you guys and get that opinion. Thank you very much indeed. We shall leave you to it and see you.
You are welcome anytime, Ben.
Oh,
Thank you,
thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. Your hospitality is noted. So we move on, everybody. We are going on to a Mustang v Mustang face-off, America versus the United Kingdom. That is going to be Brett Woolford versus Dylan Fink. Brett Woolford is going to be leading in first of all. Brett Woolford in the red Mustang, Dylan Fink in the purple Mustang. There are 16 cylinders of pure rage, American crowd hunting rage on that start line at the moment as they come under starters orders. They are ready to go. Dylan Fink chasing in Brett Woolford. Brett Woolford in the lead position, goes for that flick initiation. No, he doesn't use it quite as much of a flick, gets a little bit of a handbrake, Derek, and it just catches Dylan Fink out. Brett Woolford nicely railed in onto that outside line, maybe a tiny bit wide at 2, just dropping a wheel, but then he comes back into it. But look at Dylan Fink surging up the inside, getting the hammer down as he puts that pedal to the metal, stepping up onto that rear quarter. You can see how evenly balanced these identical setup cars are. Look at them running through Luna. Dylan Fink diving onto the front quarter of Brett Woolford as they come through that section. What a fantastic run from both drivers.
Oh boy, someone call the ambulance because these Mustangs are killing the crowd with a heck of a show. So as for those doing what it needs to do in that lead, just absolutely glued to the outside line of the outside zone there, barely dropping the tyre there, keeping the tyres just off. That is impressive. And as for Dylan Fink though, he's just utilising that really clean lead that Brett was putting down, absolutely sending it on the door. And I might be honest though, I'm going to be a little bit biased again, because I know Brett as well. Again, one of the Forza homies, or the old Forza homies who moved on, and he was actually a rival of mine. He kept betting me every time I bet.
So you want to see Dylan Fink?
Oh,
it looks like there was contact, just as we were talking about contact into turn 1. Dylan Fink and Brett Woolford come together on the initiation. We'll have to go back and have a look at that on the replay to see who was at fault. But Brett Woolford has done the overtake. I think in that D-cell zone, Brett Woolford might have just put himself out of contention as Dylan Fink fires it up onto the inside now in the chase position all over again, trying to rein it back in. We're going to have to go straight across to that replay and see what happened there, because that is not what we want to see from these guys in the top 16. Look at this. So they go for the flick. Oh, I can't see.
On a serious note, definitely call the ambulance. I think someone is hurt. Oh dear. Yeah, Brett is kind of just got a bit too close on that initiation there, it looked like, and that was the consequence. And I'm pretty sure Brett will be pretty livid with that, as he put down a fantastic lead.
Absolutely. That is going to be an interesting one as we wait to see what happens. That is not how we wanted to see this battle go out. Brett Woolford, Dylan Fink. Who's it going to be? We will definitely have to go across to the judges. Kermit the Frog 1. Oh, thank you for the subscription. We will have to go across to our judges and ask them what they think here. This is a big, big result. Mustangs doing Mustang things, smashing into each other. What's this, cuz he looks mad? Tamatua, hello, welcome along. So we are in a top 32 for our Global Drift Challenge. This is one of our rounds. This is round 2 of 4 to get these guys a VDC, Virtual Drift Championship license, the highest level championship in the world right now. And we have got a result sliding in already, just coming across. One result coming in for Dylan Fink. That's 2 for Dylan Fink. Clearly, Brett Woolford being put at responsibility for that contact. It is unanimous. Dylan Fink gets the win and advances on a Briton in a Mustang, moving on to the Great 8. That is going to be an upset for the Yankee crew. The Americans will be unhappy about that, but that is where we're at. And next we come up to Mustafa Amini is going to be leading in next. Mustafa Amini, our third place qualifier, leading in Connor Christensen. Connor Christensen taking in that James Dean S14.9 replica, the hero car. Another battle, 2 hero cars, very similar physics, 2 JZ engines, different powers, different configurations underneath a little bit, but these cars very, very evenly matched, as we see Mustafa Amini line up in the lead position. Mustafa Amini taking on Connor Christensen. These guys are off, they are underway as Caleb, the head judge, has got them going. We transition across and we're waiting to see what has happened to our screen there as Mustafa Amini fires in through that first corner, but Connor Christensen is right there with him. Connor Christensen absolutely glued to the door of Mustafa Amini. Mustafa Amini unable to break away from Connor Christensen, who almost makes contact on that transition into 4. Wow, look at Connor Christensen. He wants this so badly. He has dialed all of the grip in to make sure that Mustafa Amini cannot break away from him through this, but Mustafa Amini absolutely railed to that qualifying line. A fantastic run from him. As we join back, we've got that little bit of an error in that first bit of the stream. Sorry about that, folks, but it comes back in. We join them midway through clip 1, just going across. Josh.
Yeah, it looks like Mustafa Amini is doing what he needs to do in that. Oh my goodness me, Connor, I see you just absolutely charging on the door in that third outside zone. But yeah, Connor's absolutely all over Mustafa. Mustafa is putting down a clean lead line for Connor to chase. Like I said, as I usually say, can't have a good chase without a good lead.
Absolutely correct. That is it. And it looked like there might even have been contact as they came into clip 6, just as they come through there. We go back to the start. Connor Christensen now in that S14.9 on the right-hand side of your screens, gets off the start line, comes round through the start chicane. Mustafa Amini knows he will remember the feeling of being tapped by Connor Christensen in some of those corners, so he will know he has to put out all of the stops to get right up onto him. And look at him doing it right here. Mustafa Amini almost goes wheel to wheel with Connor Christensen on that outer zone as they come through too. Connor Christensen right out to the outside edge of 4, but he is being shadowed beautifully by Mustafa Amini, who is right there with him as they come out through Luna onto this outside zone at 7 and across the line. What a run from both of these drivers.
Oh boy, I'm just watching the run now as the suspense is killing me because I'm waiting in anticipation. Oh my goodness me. Mustafa is absolutely chasing Connor down, giving Connor a taste of his own medicine as Mustafa is utilising a clean lead line that Connor's putting down. Oh, barely keeping the tyres on the track on that outside zone on the third one there. And that last transition and opening all the stops, Mustafa is just all over him at the end. This is a close one for sure.
What do you reckon, Josh? Do you think you got a winner from this one, or do you reckon this one could go one more time?
Ooh, that is a really good question. It is a very close one, but I honestly don't know. I can't tell you, man. It could be a one more time, most likely.
It is certainly very, very close indeed as we wait to see these results drop in. Mustafa Amini doing everything he can. He wants to keep a championship hope alive. He's sat in the top 3 of both of the qualifying events that we've had so far. He went out early on in round 1. He is determined to make sure that he is in play for the championship later on, and he knows that his number 1 contender as things stand at the moment, Daryl Diaz, has managed to make it through to the Great 8 already. So we will have to wait and see what is going on there as we get into the latter part of the event. So waiting now to see what happens. Still waiting on these judges' scores. Whilst we're waiting on that, let's pop another replay in of that second run. See if we can get to that as we go back. This section, we pick them up as they go through the second part of clip 2 here. You can see Mustafa Amini doing everything he can. Just going through that section, it looks to me like Connor Christensen doesn't maybe quite get out as far as he should do onto clip 3, and it gives him a little bit of a breakaway. But as we come through into Luna, look at that dive from Mustafa Amini, managing to keep right with Connor Christensen. And I can confirm we do not have a result just as we come to the end of the replay. It is going one more time. They're going at it again. It is rerun the fun time. They are going to hit that track again. Mustafa Amini to lead first, Connor Christensen to chase first. The judges clearly not able to decide between them. Let's see what happens here. They are back on the start line, ready to go. Connor Christensen to chase in Mustafa Amini. This one's going to be tight. They're under starter's orders, and as Unger has control. Lights coming on, and it's green. It is go time. Mustafa Amini versus Connor Christensen one more time. Rerun the fun as Connor Christensen tries to stay with Mustafa Amini. Mustafa Amini right onto that outside line. That's a much better line from him through turn one this time as Connor Christensen tries to surge up. Mustafa Amini seems to have found that little bit more pace. He's on that outside zone, but he's absolutely foot to the floor. Look at the angle and speed that Mustafa Amini is carrying through there as Connor Christensen tries to send it up the inside. Now he's glued to the door. Now as we come through Luna, Connor Christensen's right there, surging forward onto that front quarter and across the line. What a run. What a fantastic one more time from these guys.
You know what? Let's keep these guys going. One more time again. We can watch these guys go at it all day. I mean, I'm down for that. Like, my goodness me. What a battle we have on our hands here. This is an all-out war to get to the top 8. Both of these drivers are hungry for that top spot on the podium. They want the gold, and they want to prove to the world that they have what it takes to earn that VDC license. My goodness me, Mustafa, he has to do what he needs to do in the chase, or we could see Connor being the dominant one.
Absolutely. Connor Christensen was really pushing hard in the latter part there, but Mustafa Amini's lead was basically impeccable. I reckon if we'd seen that lead from Mustafa Amini yesterday during qualifying, we'd have had a very different top 3. I think Mustafa Amini might have finally got into the groove with this track to the fullest of his abilities, as he's right there with Connor Christensen as he gives him space through the power alley and then dives up onto the draw, going for that full send. Look at that from Connor Christensen, though, on the outside line, and Mustafa Amini's in him. He is rubbing that door. He is determined to leave his mark on Connor Christensen all the way round and across the line.
Oh my goodness me, Mustafa, the warrior from Saudi Arabia, taking it to the door with Connor Christensen. My goodness me, I'm speechless. These guys are consistent, and even those OMTs, mate, I don't know if I could be able to pull that off. Doing multiple OMTs in a row, we could see him go again. But although Mustafa just absolutely grinding away on that door, leaving a tyre mark on that door of Connor.
Absolutely.
Not to take anything away from him, he's put down a lead run for success here. Absolutely stunning.
Absolutely, totally agree. And that is the Mustafa Amini that we've been waiting to see come into this championship. He has got so much potential. He really is a phenomenal driver. But overall, you can see Connor Christensen as well, very much worthy of his place in this top 16. But now, Plumont, thank you for the follow. Welcome along. But now we will see, has Mustafa Amini done enough to overcome Connor Christensen, or are we going to have to see them go yet again? That is a very close battle. In my mind, I do have a winner. I'm not a judge today. I've not got my judge's hat on. I have merely got my talking rubbish hat on, and my talking rubbish hat has an opinion. But
I want to see him go again.
I mean, we could see them go again. We've had some one more times already that have been absolutely brutal. And this was the thing that was so interesting when everyone was saying this track was easy. It did not produce the string of 90-plus point qualifying runs that we expected we were going to see during the battles, during qualifying yesterday. But it did always have the potential for giving us some truly phenomenal battles. And that was one of them. While we're waiting on this judge's score, I'm going to send that over. Oh, no, I don't need to send it over. There's 2 votes for one more time. They are going at it again. Regardless of what the third judge's vote is, we are going to see these guys go toe-to-toe. Rerun the fun. It's unanimous rerun the fun. Let's go straight back to it. They're off to the start line again. I am absolutely okay with that. I could watch these guys all day. This is pod racing. This is drifting as we wanted to see it. This is the absolute pinnacle of what you will ever see. It is never going to get closer than these two going toe to toe like this. What a fantastic demonstration of the sport. Both of them incredible lead runs, both of them really aggressive chase runs. Mustafa Amini comes back to the start to lead all over again. Let's see what happens here. I know what's going on in the chat. I know that people have got their opinions on that they think Mustafa Amini could have won that, and I think that's where I would have gone, but I also understand why it is going again. You have to remember, guys, it's not just the chase runs, it's lead versus lead, chase versus chase. And that lead from Connor Christensen was absolutely sublime. But talking about Connor Christensen, there's a mistake from Connor Christensen as he comes into that first corner. He ends up backing off, almost straightening and then reinitiating. And Mustafa Amini makes no such error. He's absolutely on fire in that lead position, sends it onto the outside as they come through into the first part of Luna. And there's Connor Christensen right back in it, trying to get back onto that front quarter of Mustafa Amini. Look at him pushing him across the line. Let's go straight back and see that first corner, though.
Oh boy, having multiple OMTs can break a driver, honestly. Especially, giving all of your energy into one run just to try and just get that win. But unfortunately, I think Connor just already spent too much of his energy and he's running on an empty tank and made that mistake on the first corner. So this could be a big advantage for Mustafa coming into this second half of the run there.
Absolutely. So we go back to the start line. Mustafa Amini in our minds, and we are not judging today. It's important to remember Josh has just come to join me in the commentary box here, but we are not judging today. Mustafa Amini does, in our minds, both of us seem to have an advantage as he goes for the absolute send onto the inside of Connor Christensen. Mustafa Amini probably does not know that he might have that advantage, and he is absolutely railed in. Look, tucking under that rear bumper of Connor Christensen as Connor Christensen sends it so hard into clip 4, just dropping that wheel. He is determined to find that extra 10% that it needs to beat Mustafa Amini, and I think he's now out of his comfort zone, maybe just overdriving a tiny bit as they cross the line. Let's go back to that. What a second run that was.
As a coach once said, a winner never quits and a quitter never wins, as Christian was absolutely sending it on the lead run. It was a do or die run for him, as Mustafa was not having any of it, utilising that fantastic lead run that Connor was doing and just sticking it to the door. He probably didn't know he had advantage. He's like, I'm just going to send it till I bend it, mate. This warrior from Saudi Arabia could be going on top into the top 8.
Send it till I bend it. I love it. What a sentence. The question is, Josh, if you win, if we get a Josh Oxley at the top of a podium at some point, will we see a Josh Oxley shoey?
Don't tempt me.
Excellent. But who is going to be shoeying this one? Do we finally have a winner? I could see that from both sides. I can see why the judges went for one more time on that last run, but I think I cannot see another one coming out of this. I think surely we have a winner in this battle now, and I do just wonder whether you were right and that Connor Christensen just kept on pushing until there was nothing left in the tank. Let's find out. We are waiting on the judges' results to slot in. They're deliberating now. They have different cameras to us as well. They're using a different replay system. They're able to go back on their own and have a look at replays from a different angle that they use via their own private YouTube. So these judges have definitely got every angle that they need to come out with the best result for this. So, do we finally have a result in this battle? Will we be moving on to the all-Irish final battle of the top 16?
I gotta say though, I didn't know how these two drive, but I definitely know how they drive now, and they are magnificent.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a phenomenal battle, backwards and forwards. Oh, we're down to 69 viewers. Nice.
Nice!
So, let's see. The next time I'll say nice is if we get to 420 viewers. Those are the obligatory numbers, aren't they?
You know what? Having said about the Yushui thing, if I actually, although I doubt it, I'll get there, but if I happen to do that, I will turn on the webcam and show the viewers that I will actually do it.
Oh, we've already got a split decision. Hang on, Josh, I'm going to hold you right there. We've got one vote for Bobby, from Bobby for Mustafa, and one vote from Caleb for Connor Christensen. Christopher Ennis is the deciding vote. You can see how much of a split there is on this. Waiting on this final vote to drop in. Big Chiefer 420, thank you for the follow. Welcome along. There's that special number, that second special number. It's an OMT. Chris Ennis has gone OMT. Are you kidding me? We are not going at this again, are we? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. They are doing it all over again. And I can tell you why. I understand why. Xavier Views. Xavier WVS, welcome. Thank you for the follow as well. I know why. I can tell you why. Having looked at things now again on that replay, I think that what happened there is there was that straighten. XY1 axis, thank you for the follow. There was that straighten as they went in from Conor Christensen into turn 1, but Mustafa then threw it away with his wheel over the outside edge onto clip 2. So that was an error from both drivers in the first run. Torkutsu, thank you for the follow. There was an error from both drivers in that first run, so we got to go again. This is what, the fourth one more time, or the fourth battle, third one more time for these drives. They are going to be losing their minds. We have never seen these guys go this hard, and you can see how the judges were split. One on one side, one on the other, and an OMT. It does not get more divided than that. That is absolutely as divided as it could possibly go on for.
I gotta say though, I think there will be some people with some pitchforks and torches right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and I know. My personal opinion, I think that error. And this is entirely personal. Me, as a commentator, my personal opinion is that error from Conor Christensen was larger in that first run. But it does not matter because I am not sat in the judges' den this evening. I am sat in the commentary with you, Josh, as Mustafa Amini leads for the 4th time against Conor Christensen. He has got to find something special. Both of these guys so evenly matched as Mustafa Amini doesn't quite make it all the way into the outside zone at 1, but there's no contact, no error for Conor Christensen in the background there, as a Mustafa Amini then absolutely fills 2 and Conor Christensen's right with him. How do you separate these guys? It's coming down to every single final little detail, and one of those details, Mustafa Amini just dropped a wheel at 4. Is that going to be the deciding factor? But Conor Christensen's there. Conor Christensen's right with him, up into that door, pushing. His front wheel is practically docking with the arch of Mustafa Amini's front wheel. That is incredible stuff.
There's no end to it. There's no end to these guys. How the hell can I keep it going with like 4th OMT? Like, I can't see that being possible, but they proved me wrong, I guess. Like, Mustafa just doing what he needs to do in the lead, while Conor's just utilising it once again, all over the door with Mustafa. These two are going at it all out war right now, and I'm down to keep these guys going. They're just going to keep chugging away.
We've got people dropping into the chat. Sakatsu saying this is better than the Formula D. Thank you very much. We're happy to hear it. And remember that this is the feeder series for Virtual Drift Championship. So if you think these guys are at the top of the game, they probably are for what we've got at the moment. They want that license. They want to be in the VDC. They deserve to be there. You can see from this driving that they deserve to be there as Mustafa Amini gets the send. But Conor Christensen's found another gear for his entry. Look at that flick from Conor Christensen. Absolutely sublime in the lead position as he just comes up slightly shy on 3. Could that be the deciding factor as Mustafa Amini is shadowing him beautifully, sends it up to the inside. Is he going to get it? He gets into the door. Oh, there's double contact. He is nudging him, pushing him, rubbing his way round Luna as they come into the final corner. Look at that from both drivers. What a fantastic run.
Oh, mate. Oh, my goodness, mate. The staff are just initiating, mimicking wherever Conor goes. That warrior from Saudi Arabia is not going to give in. He has a will to go on. Oh my goodness, but Conor also is hardwired just to keep on going. Them two are not going to stop until a decision is made. And it's just a matter of just a big question. If they move up to the top 8, will they still have the same sort of energy? Or will they would have just spent it all in the top 16 when they move on?
Absolutely. That is a great question. That's a fantastic question because this is mentally draining. This is mentally exhausting for these guys going at it one more time.
It's a top 16 too. It's not even top 8. It's not top 4. It's not even the finals.
Oh, I
It's
can tell
top
you we have a
16.
winner. We have a unanimous winner this time. It is absolutely unanimous. All three drivers have slid right. I can tell you that Connor Christensen, on the 4th, one more time, has knocked out Mustafa Amini. And I know that there's going to be chat about that, but you have to remember, guys, what they're looking at when the judges are seeing things. There were those 2 errors in the last one where I could potentially have gone for Mustafa Amini. I can see the argument for going for the one more time again. And this time, it was no doubt at all, absolutely no question from anyone there. That contact from Mustafa pushing that hard up into Connor Christensen in that last corner possibly cost him the battle. And I don't know how I feel about it. I could have watched them go another 3-4 times. That is one of the best pairings I've ever seen in any drifting anywhere in the world. What an even battle that was. But this time, Connor Christensen gets the win, and we will move on instead to the all-Irish battle. Jamie Healy to lead in Darren Baker. Let's go to it. I'm going to have to rewrite my brain to understand what's going on, because I do not get how I'm going to have to say other people's names now. It's going to be weird. It's just Mustafa Amini and Connor Christensen for the rest of time. I don't know what I'm doing. Here we go. But Jamie Healy now leads in. Darren Baker. Jamie Healy in that GT86. Darren Baker in that RPS 13. Tsujigiri in the background as Jamie Healy fires it across. That is a beautiful line from him, but Darren Baker is right with him. Darren Baker goes up the inside, but Jamie Healy has the speed in that GT86 as Darren Baker comes on the late brake, trying to get up into that door. It is not the same as the runs we've just been watching. These cars very differently matched. The GT86 so fast as he gets onto the throttle. Jamie Healy just starts to open up that gap round and across the line.
Oh boy, I was not expecting. I was kind of expecting Darren to be all over Jamie Healy, but it looks like he kind of left a few points on the table there. But Jamie Healy doing what he needs to do in the lead. But as for Darren Baker, probably near the end, he looks like he was baking a good chase run there. I'm sorry for the pun, but I'm just going to keep going with it. But this could be an advantage for Jamie, though, overall. I'm not 100% sure about Darren's chase run there. He needs to bake out a good lead for this one.
As Darren Baker comes back to the start line to lead in now, Jamie Healy, the all-Irish last battle of the top 16. Jamie Healy must now chase down Darren Baker. They're on the line, they're ready to go, they're under starters' orders. Blue on blue here with Darren Baker in that RPS 13 2JZ. Jamie Healy in the GT86 on the left-hand side of your screen. The lights go green. They are off. Darren Baker, is this the final battle of the top 16, or will we have another round of one more times? I don't know if my brain can take it. If we do, as Darren Baker slots onto the outside line, Jamie Healy's right there, sending it up the inside. Look at that line. Darren Baker just dropping wheels, though, onto the outside edge at 2. Jamie Healy sends it up onto his door as they come into 4, but a gap opened up just beforehand. Is Jamie Healy going to be able to make use of it? As Darren Baker on a much cleaner chase line last time round than Jamie Healy's managing to find here, but is that because Darren Baker's line is all over the place in the lead? That's for our judges to decide. Let's go back to it and have a look there.
Oh boy, it looks like Jamie Healy seems to be all over Darren in the chase there in the first bit there. But as Darren was making that second outside zone, can you smell what Darren is baking in that lead run? And I certainly can. I can smell scones.
No, I've eaten the scones. I've eaten the scones already.
Scones.
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 Unrelevant. Let's move on.
I mean, I agree with scones, but I've just decided just to say scones.
No, we're not having that face-off. You're not English enough for us to have that conversation. Oh, and I can see the judges have already got a decision. 1 vote for Jamie Healy, 2 votes for Jamie Healy. Is it going to be unanimous? Have we moved on already? I've got used to seeing battles go repeatedly. Is it going to be unanimous? We're still waiting. Jamie Healy definitely gets the win there and advances on to face Connor Christensen. God, that's going to be a battle and a half. Is it unanimous, though? Yes, it is unanimous. Jamie Healy gets a unanimous victory over Darren Baker and advances on. We will see Jamie Healy take on Connor Christensen, and that is fascinating. Let's see how our Great 8 has shaped up. We now know the full breadth of it. Let's have a look at that bracket together, folks, right now on your screens. And that is Daryl Diaz versus Jordan Fry. That has so much potential. Artem Makashenko versus Stephen Jarboe. That's another. I mean, every single one of these battles is exciting. Austin Zalewski versus Dylan Fink. Connor Christensen versus Jamie Healy. Oh my God, I just don't know what to say. This is a heck of a great 8 that we have in store for you here. Oh, wow. Wow, as we come back, so thank you very much to everyone for being with us so far. It is a real pleasure having you here. We enjoy your time and your company very much. Just while we've got this little break with people dropping in, just want to say thank you to Josh for joining me on the commentary. It's been a pleasure having you here with me, Josh. Also want to just quickly thank all of our drivers for taking part over the course of TGDC so far this weekend. It's been some phenomenal driving, very difficult judging for everyone, difficult to commentate, difficult to say anything bad about the quality of the driving that we've seen. Thank you very much to Grip Royal for their sponsorship of the series and their first place prize that is on the line for all of our drivers. Thank you to Virtual Drift Championships for supporting us and allowing us to be their official feeder series for this year and hopefully many more years to come. Thank you also to our separate sponsors for Tsujigiri, that is Eclipse Motorsport, Retro Speed Shop in the UK, Enemed Racing Fuels, Grams Racing Performance Injectors and Zeknova Tyres. We could not run a race team without our supporters, and we could not do this stream without you guys at home, or very specifically to our Patreons for their ongoing support of Tsujigiri's car packs and the Tsujigiri Collective program. We're going to go straight back to the action now. We're not going to hang around because we've been delayed already today by my internet. We're going straight in now to the Great 8. Josh, predictions.
Oh boy. Oh no. Oh God, I had to do it again.
Well, who did you have for your final 4?
Well, I had Daryl Diaz.
Yep.
I had Artem. I had Austin, but I did have Darren Baker, but Jamie Healy sent him back into the kitchen.
Oh, brutal slap down that, Josh. That's horrific. God.
I'm sorry. If I see an opportunity to make puns out of names, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do
now,
it.
I'm really interested in this one because I think Daryl Diaz and Jordan Fry is going to be a defining battle. For me, and this is controversial, for me, the winner that comes out of that battle is probably the winner of the event because I can't see anyone stopping either of those drivers except one or the other of them. Because Daryl Diaz, he is phenomenally smooth, phenomenally fast driver, but I just don't think he's come up against anyone in our competition so far, be it in this round or in the first round that he won, who is as fast as Jordan Fry is around here in that GT86. Jordan looks phenomenally quick. He has got that car really working for him, and I'm fascinated to see how this battle pans out.
Yeah, it's going to be the S chassis versus the 86. Both of them with the same engine, both running 2Js under the bonnet.
Very different power levels, though. As we go back to it, we're going to see now Daryl Diaz, Jordan Fry. Daryl Diaz in that S14.9, the James Dean replica pro car. Daryl Diaz, the round 1 winner, your current championship leader, the person already on track to be getting that first place move up into the Virtual Drift Championship. However, Jordan Fry could stop him here. This could be a chance for a championship upset, a chance for Jordan Fry to catapult himself into the upper reaches of the championship standings. They've just gone back to the pits. I'm not quite sure why. They are under those starters' orders, though, so that might be a decision from Anders to get them to reset. We are waiting for all 8 of our drivers, the guys you are looking for: Daryl Diaz, Jordan Fry, Artem Makashenko, Stephen Jarboe, Austin Zalewski, Dylan Fink, Connor Christensen, and Jamie Healy. Those are the guys we are waiting on at the moment. So
I think I might use this opportunity to grab a glass of water quickly because I feel like I'm starting to lose my voice because my throat is getting sore. Oh dear. I'll be back.
As we lose Josh to the desperation of needing water. What a terribly weak human trait that is.
Excuse me!
Rosalie Ismail, thank you for the like. Welcome along. It's good to have you here. We will be starting into our Great 8 very, very shortly. Just waiting for these guys to load in. Whilst we're doing that, I tell you what, let's send you guys across to a quick promo section here just while they come up to the line. We'll see you in a second. We are back and we have Daryl Diaz on the line on the right-hand side of your screens in that S14.9 to lead in Jordan Fry in the first battle of the Great 8. I made a confident prediction as we get underway here. The lights go green. My confident prediction was that whoever wins this battle is taking the event this evening. I've been wrong before. I'm sure I'll be wrong again, but Daryl Diaz is on a tear straight away. E. Fry, thank you for the follow. Welcome along as we see this. Daryl Diaz has really found his groove. He's clearly turned the wick right up on this battle. He is determined not to let the incredibly fast Jordan Fry keep up with him round here, but this is where Jordan Fry has got the advantage. Coming into Luna, look at Jordan Fry's proximity as he gets up onto the inside edge, and he is absolutely matching that proximity and angle and position all the way round and across the line, and this is what I was thinking was going to happen. You can see how fast this is for these guys. We have a 40-second time frame on this replay every time, and sometimes we only join people midway through that first corner, but look at that. Jordan Fry, I think maybe a little bit of contact with the back of Daryl Diaz as he went into that transition into clip 2. Jordan is determined to be right up inside him there.
Wow.
Really good.
Also, I'm back with the supply of water.
Ah, hello. Back with the water.
I'm alive. I am alive. I would say, though, wow, that lead run from Daryl was fantastic. I mean,
That was
there's no
really
other word
something.
to explain it. Living
Yeah,
up
that-
to his name being the #1 qualifier. But of
Yep.
course, Jordan is going to utilise that. But oh my goodness me, there was some love taps.
Hash420, thank you very much for the follow. That was an incredible run. Now we're going to see it flipped around. Jordan Fry takes on the #1 qualifier, the championship leader in Daryl Diaz. Jordan Fry, was there contact? Because Jordan Fry's gone deep. Jordan Fry's dropped wheels off the edge. I don't know if that was an error by him. Oh, he's reset to pits. Let's go straight back. We're going to save that replay. We're going to go straight back to it. Liam Neon, thank you for the follow. Welcome along. Let's have a look at this again. We don't want anything like that. Let's start right from here. Josh, give me your thinkings as we
Right.
go into this.
The lights extinguished, and they're both running through the gears, initiating together. Oh, yep, I can see. Oh, I think there was a bit of contact. Maybe a bit of contact when Jordan started to drop tires. Oh, wow. Oh,
Well,
I'm not judging right now.
It's certainly not what we wanted to see. The judges will have their own cameras on that, and they have the option to go back and do some slow motion replays on various things there.
Oh man, glad they have the equipment that I need for this. My goodness me, I don't know how to call this one. I'm just going to be just replaying that little bit over and over again on the YouTube there.
Going to be a difficult one. And I can tell you already the judges have reached a decision. They say that Jordan Fry was off track of his own volition before the contact. Daryl Diaz gets the win and goes on through. Daryl Diaz gets the win. They have given that one as blame to Jordan Fry from their replays and looking at that there.
Oh boy. Yeah, they chose the wrong time to... John's Gremlins decided to choose the wrong time to show their ugly face.
Just a difficult one to watch, that, isn't it? We did not want to see things end like that, but we move on.
No.
Artem Makashenko will now lead in on this next battle. Jordan, fantastic driving all weekend. You are definitely in as a contender for that VDC license. I think we will see you again in the top 32. You've qualified both times for the top 32 so far, so you've got to be in with a serious chance at that championship positioning. So we move on. This is Artem Makashenko in the S13 leading in Stephen Jarboe. Stephen Jarboe in the only driver in that 2J powered S15, and he's been using the speed of that thing through the transition to punctuate his place onto the championship so far in this round. But Artem Makashenko looks absolutely silky smooth in that lead position right out onto that outside line. Look at him crank the angle before the transition, but it just gives the momentum back to Stephen Jarboe, and look how fast that S15 is through those transitions as soon as he's able to lock onto it. But just running wide at the end of that track. We'll have to go back and see what happens.
Oh, okay. That chase run that Stephen did in the first initiation, he kind of checked up a bit, and then he had to charge back up onto the door again, which he managed to do that. Meanwhile, Artem, and I just realised I made a terrible mistake previously, because I think I got Artem and Jakub mixed up. Go me. But moving along though, but Stephen was on the door near the end, and Artem was doing what he needs to do in the lead.
Absolutely. Shinobly, thank you for the follow. As we go back to the start, let's have a look at this. This is Stephen Jarboe coming onto the start line now in that lead position in that chrome pink S15. It's such a fantastic looking car. It manages to look both aggressive and beautiful all at the same time. Fabulous looking car that he's got there with that livery, and it is so simple, so clean. Both of these guys, fantastic drivers. Very, very different setups though, even though they're both 2J powered S bodies. Totally different grip levels in the way they deliver things. We're going to see Stephen Jarboe try and use that to his advantage. It clearly played against him into turn one earlier because he was expecting Artem Makashenko to be quicker through turn one, but look at that gap open up already. Stephen Jarboe, every single time he transitions, that car just leaps away from whoever he's with. No one is transitioning like Stephen Jarboe, and just as I say that, he drops a wheel. Stephen Jarboe gets a wheel into the grass at clip 4. Is this the end of the road for Stephen Jarboe as Artem Makashenko takes advantage? He's right up in Stephen Jarboe's business all the way across the line. Fantastic run for the second half of that battle. And Daz Hooper, thank you for the follow.
Looks like Stephen was on form in the lead, but it looks like he's going to be making just a mistake again that's going to cost him the win. And I'm thinking just the mistake that he did in the lead, a mistake that he didn't in the chase as well. I think this could be Stephen getting sent back on the trailer in the top 8, which I wouldn't be mad at that at all. I'll be pretty damn happy to get into the top 85 to be honest, but that's just me.
So
I'm pretty sure he'll be wanting to win.
Absolutely. As we go back, waiting for the judges' results, Stephen Jarboe, Artem Makashenko. Let's have a look, waiting on these judges' results. I have to say I agree with you, Josh. I think that's Stephen Jarboe's day over and done with. I didn't see enough of a mistake. I know there was that slowdown. That's one vote for Artem Makashenko. Is it going to be the win? Yes, it is. Artem Makashenko advances on. He will face Daryl Diaz in the final 4. Artem Makashenko knocking out Stephen Jarboe. Or rather, really, I think in that one, Stephen Jarboe sadly taking himself out of contention. But what a result for Stephen Jarboe to have worked his way all the way through to that position in the Great 8. Fantastic work by him. And we will see Artem Makashenko again in the final 4 shortly. In the meantime, we move on. Austin Zalewski versus Dylan Fink. Austin Zalewski to lead in first. Dylan Fink in that Mustang in the chase position. Neither of these guys opting to warm their tyres too much. They both just want to get up and involved with everything. Austin Zalewski in the lead position, ready to go. Let's see how this is going to play out. Austin Zalewski to lead in. Dylan Fink, here we go. This is the other half of everything. Austin Zalewski goes for the flick initiation. Dylan Fink is right there with him. Dylan Fink has stalled it out. Dylan Fink straightened in the background. That looks like it might have been a 0 for Dylan Fink as he goes straight into turn 1. Absolutely backed it in, trying to slow down behind Austin Zalewski. And now Dylan Fink comes back into it, trying to surge back up, but has to back off again on the transition. He has just overcooked the first half of this run. And look at Dylan Fink. Look at the size difference from that Mustang as it looms up onto the mirrors of Austin Zalewski and across the line. Josh, tell me whether you think this was Dylan Fink at fault in turn 1.
Well, I didn't see Austin do anything wrong. He was just doing the lead run that he usually does, like a robot that he is. And unfortunately, Dylan, I think the pressure got to him. The fact that he's in the grade 8, I reckon.
That is entirely possible as Dylan Fink and Austin Zalewski make their way back round to the line. You can see what a phenomenal run from Austin Zalewski in that lead position, but Dylan Fink just getting everything all out of whack there. Looked like it was by himself. We'll have to wait and see whether that gets overturned. Now, don't forget, it can all go wrong in run 2. There is an option here. Dylan Fink could now put down that perfect run. Austin Zalewski could have an absolute nightmare, but he will know if he's got his spotters talking to him that there was a mistake by Dylan Fink in that round. And if he doesn't have his spotters, then this is a chance where he could overshoot, but it's not going to matter because it looks like Dylan Fink has just let the pressure get to him as it all started to build up too much. And Austin Zalewski moves on most likely. We're waiting for this to finish this run. Austin Zalewski comes round and through. Dylan Fink putting it in the wall at 2, just overshooting everything. Maybe he didn't have his setup set quite right, but for whatever reason, that looked like Dylan Fink taking himself entirely out of contention here. What a shame for the young Briton as Dylan Fink nicely enters onto that corner. But this transition, you just see, yeah, Austin Zalewski's nowhere near him and Dylan Fink ends up in the wall. Looked like it was all by himself. That is a real shame.
The wall has claimed its victim and it happens to be a Mustang. It's fallen. Victim.
I mean, I don't want to make light of it because I know Dylan Fink will be hating everything about this moment, but that really was a Mustang off to do Mustang things, because previously we had put a digital crowd behind that barrier and it looked like it was just off to hunt them down. Desperate, bloodthirsty car that it is. Such a small mistake from Dylan Fink with such catastrophic consequences for the outcome of that run. What a real shame for him there.
It is,
and that is unanimous.
American muscle gone.
I can tell you that is unanimous. Austin Zalewski gets the win and advances on to the final 4. Now we have one more Great 8 battle to go. Connor Christensen, who has gone one more time so much over the course of this competition. He went 4 one more times with Mustafa Amini to earn his place in that Great 8. He must now get past Jamie Healy, whose singles dispatched run of Darren Baker took him through. So Connor Christensen has more laps on this track, on these conditions, than any other driver here right now. Connor Christensen will be either totally keyed in and ready to go, or totally emotionally and physically and mentally exhausted and absolutely unable to put up another fight here. His adrenaline will be running high. He will want to just dispatch Jamie Healy and take a break. But is it going to go down to the wire again as Connor Christensen comes off the line in the lead position? Jamie Healy in the chase, firing in. Connor Christensen goes for the initiation, gets snapped to angle and comes up short. Connor Christensen doesn't make it all the way out into zone 1. Jamie Healy's able to stay right with him as we get a little bit of lag there, but Jamie Healy right with Connor Christensen. It looks like Connor Christensen deeper into 3 than he was with Mustafa Amini. Nicely into 4 there, but Jamie Healy is right there. And just as I say it, some commentators curse for everybody as Jamie Healy over-rotates the transition into clip 5. Jamie Healy potentially throwing away the advantage that had been gifted to him there. You could see him drive past Connor Christensen in rage after the finish.
Oh no, Benny boy, what did you do?
I said a nice thing. I should never say a nice thing. It's a terrible power to have, Josh. You don't understand the burden.
Now listen, with great power comes great responsibility.
With great power comes great desire to do stupid things. Well,
undermines what I said.
they are back round on the line. Jamie Healy now to lead. Connor Christensen in the chase position. People in the chat, Ben killing people. Yeah, I've just got this creepy ability. You know, if I say something nice about you, something terrible will happen. So it's important that I continue to insult all of my friends. Here we go. Daryl Diaz in the lead position. Connor Christensen caught napping as Daryl Diaz absolutely yeets his way into the outer zone at 1. That's one of the best lines we've seen through there all day. This is now territory familiar to Connor Christensen as he desperately hunts down that fast car in front of him, diving up the inside. Connor Christensen left foot braking desperately. I don't think he needed to send it that hard to the inside line on Jamie Healy, but it looks like Jamie Healy doing everything right in the lead, but Connor Christensen not making any mistakes in the chase position. Is that going to be enough to overturn that error for Jamie Healy? Let's find out. Josh, your thoughts?
I think that chase run that Connor put down behind Jamie Healy is probably put a nail in the coffin, but I could be wrong. But
We've been wrong before.
Yeah, exactly. But Connor, though, all over Jamie, like he usually does with the stuff. But as for Jamie, though, he was definitely putting down a lead line like it was his last. It was the do-or-die run for Jamie. But I would say, though, he actually made quite a similar mistake that I did behind Jordan at the last transition, kind of just angled up a bit and just completely lost the door.
Absolutely. So we come down to it. Sliding left for Connor Christensen. Sliding right for Jamie Healy, or is it going one more time? Six Pippin Crack has followed. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome along. Are we going again? Or is that it? Is that Connor Christensen, the man who has undoubtedly had the hardest route so far to the Final Four in terms of the number of top quality drivers he's had to try and dispatch? Joshify, thank you for the host.
Hey, Joshy!
Oh, that's one vote for Connor Christensen. Chris Ennis has given it to Connor Christensen. Octavian Shellaroo has given it to Connor Christensen, and so has Caleb. It is unanimous. That is unanimous, folks. I can confirm that Connor Christensen has advanced through to the Final Four. This is your Final Four, shaped up now. Daryl Diaz will take on Artem Makushenko. Austin Zalewski will take on Connor Christensen. That is a really serious battle. All of those guys still on at the moment. Daryl Diaz going to lead in first against Artem Makushenko. We are not going to hang around at all. Daryl Diaz will come straight up to the line, ready to go. Artem Makushenko will also pull up to that line ready. This is one hell of a Final Four. It is exciting to think that all of these guys could well be in VDC next year. Absolutely fantastic driving so far. As we go straight back to it, your predictions, Josh, what are you thinking?
I'm expecting an all-out war between these four drivers. I want them to literally glue each other to the doors and try to kill each other. I really want to see that. Because it's the Final Four. I want to see the drivers give it everything they got. Give it all she's got, Captain.
But maybe they won't have the power. We'll have to find out. Power. This is it. The power. Power. With great power comes a great desire to mess with your friends. So, we're waiting for this to join in now. We have all four of these drivers already on the Joshified on the chat, just going, kill, kill, kill. No, bad, naughty Joshua, back in your box. Yeah. Guy saying pretty violent, not going to lie. I agree. Like that was an escalation. That was a serious escalation. So let's have a look at it while we're waiting for these guys to come up to the line. This is our track at Three Sisters. This beautiful replica done by Ho-Ho from KK&C. This is Three Sisters in all its glory. Many of us driving here or commentating or working on this event have driven Three Sisters multiple times in real life. It's a fantastic track for drifting in both competition and practice events, and we have them on the line. Here you go. This is it. This is Daryl Diaz versus Artem Makashenko as we go in to the final four. This is for a place in the finals. This is do or die time. Whoever wins this is definitely on the podium. Who is it going to be? In the chat, place your bets now. Who do you think is going to stand atop the podium today as Daryl Diaz continues absolutely unchecked through to the final four here? Points leader from round one, championship contender from round one, number one qualifier this week. As here we go, Daryl Diaz fires it in onto his normal line, nice and wide there onto the outside edge, and here comes Artem Makashenko sticking right with him. Artem Makashenko sends it up onto the door, really getting in right close and personal with Daryl Diaz, and there's almost contact on that transition. Artem Makashenko does not want Daryl Diaz getting away. Slightly slow transition from Artem Makashenko there as Daryl Diaz is dialed in on that S14.9, hammered down all the way through Luna out to clip 7, but Artem Makashenko is right there with him.
Oh boy, they're both entering into the first corner, and Artem Makashenko right across the bumper transition onto the door with Daryl. Might have a bit of a slow transition there, might have got a little bit of a gap away, but he is keeping on that door. And as for Daryl though, he's just a bloody robot, just doing 100-point runs after 100-point runs all the time, all the way through. Every time he does a run, wow.
Absolutely, wow is the word, Scorp. As we go back to the start, Artem Makashenko has got his work cut out to beat Daryl Diaz, but he looks like he might have his number. Artem Makashenko has read those transitions beautifully every time so far. Now we go back, the second half of this battle, this for the place in the final. The light goes green, Artem Makashenko launches it. Daryl Diaz doesn't want him getting away, launches first, comes right alongside him, goes for that flick. Look at that initiation from Daryl Diaz as Artem Makashenko beautifully on that outside line. Artem Makashenko's got it dialed right in onto the outside edge at 2. And Daryl Diaz is right with him, trying to send it up the inside. Daryl Diaz making sure he's got that proximity. This is where Artem Makashenko really started to shine in the last part of this battle, first time round. But look at Daryl Diaz doing exactly the same. Glued to his door, slight contact from the wheel as they come round and through and across the line. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if there's a winner there.
Oh man, this is what I anticipated. This is what I hoped for. I wanted these guys to literally try and kill each other, and that's exactly what they've been trying to do. All over each other's doors, all the way through. And as for the lead drivers, absolutely nailing that lead line, murdering those outside clips, and just going all out, foot flat to the floor and across the line.
Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Let's go back to this. Mohammed Kadir Bahari, thank you for the follow. Usul 10K, thank you for the follow. Daryl Diaz, Artem Makashenko. This is what we're looking for here. Matthew Alexander Strutt, thank you for the share. Great to see people sharing this. We want you guys involved. It's fantastic to have. This is what it's all about. This is for a place in the final, and I can tell you that it has gone to Daryl Diaz. Artem Makashenko has another chance to stand on top of the podium, or at least on the podium, as we come through into the final section. But Artem Makashenko only goes through to the third, fourth playoff. Daryl Diaz, your championship leader and number one qualifier, makes it through to the final.
He is the one.
Will he bring balance to the force? That is the question. It's Daryl Diaz.
To believe.
Who next? Who next for Daryl Diaz? Who will face him in the final? Who's it going to be, Josh? Is it going to be Austin Zalewski or Connor Christensen?
They're both driving out of their minds, and they are going to fight for it. Honestly, they're going to have an all-out war to get into the finals. But it's just a big question. Is Connor's energy, is there anything left in the tank for Austin? Because, Connor, because he had a really tough bracket. Like going 3 to 4 one more times with Mustafa. Just, wow. That guy's still chugging away. Just keep on ticking.
Absolutely. He's been putting it all on the line as hard as anyone all day. I had Mustafa Amini down to win that battle, but honestly, I think that in the end, Connor Christensen has been a worthy winner. TK Drift 87, thank you for the follow as we get into this final part of the Final Four. This is Austin Zalewski leading in Connor Christensen, and Austin Zalewski's on an absolutely beautiful line, but we all now know that the only thing a beautiful line allows for on this track is for Connor Christensen to just do the most sublime chase runs, and that is what he's doing. Look at Connor Christensen docking once again with the lead car. He's got that front wheel tucked into the wheel well. He's literally knocking on that door. What a fantastic chase, but only possible from that incredible lead that we got from Austin Zalewski there. Josh.
Austin Zalewski just doing what he needs to do. It's been a second place qualifier. Just doing what he's doing in that lead, and as for Connor, he's just utilising it, just absolutely utilising it, just putting down a solid chase run against Austin Zalewski. Austin, he's got some work to do, because if he's slightly away from Connor in the chase, this could be Connor for the taking.
Absolutely. Will we see an all 14.9 final, or will we see another case of the S14.9 versus the RPS 13 with these four Js in fact, so many Js. Two 2J engines on track at the moment. It will be an all 2J final as we go into this. We see that big initiation from Connor Christensen, but look at it. Austin Zalewski's right there with him. Austin Zalewski tucks up into that rear quarter, pushing as hard as possible. This transition's going to be crucial. We saw Connor Christensen absolutely send it onto the door in clip 4, and Austin Zalewski has done exactly the same thing, going onto that power line now, onto this outside zone at Luna. Is Austin Zalewski going to be able to keep the proximity? No, he's not quite, but now he reels it back in and across the line. Oh my God, it's so good.
Oh, Connor, with that lead run there, doing what he needs to do on that initiation, absolutely riding the outside zones there. But as for Austin, he's absolutely utilising it, what Connor did in the chase in the first run. Although it could be a chance that Connor could have pulled away from Austin slightly there, but I'm not seeing much of a gap. Austin is just still glued to the door all the way through. I mean, if we see it one more time, I think Connor's literally going to go insane, because I don't think he can take it anymore. It's been too many one more times for the poor dude.
Connor Christensen has driven this track in battle more than any other person. He went 4 one more times with Mustafa Amini. Is it going to be another one more time here against Austin Zalewski?
I've got to ask you this, Ben.
Go on.
When it's the final run of the finals, the second half of it, do you want me to hype up the run before the lights extinguish?
Oh, hang on. I'm going to stop you there, Josh, because we do have a winner. I can tell you we have a winner. It is irrelevant right now. Everything else is irrelevant, because I can tell you that the man who has had the hardest afternoon of anybody, Connor Christensen, is going to the final. He will face off against Daryl Diaz in the final. Connor Christensen has managed to get his way past the incredibly fast Austin Zalewski. Austin Zalewski instead will go to face Artem Makashenko in the fourth playoff. So how weird is this? What we have in the fourth playoff, 2 RPS 13 2JZs. What we have in the second face-off in the final, 2 S14.9 James Dean replicas. It is an all-hero pack Final Four. That is where we are at now. We are going into the playoff. First of all, this is it. Artem Makashenko to lead in Austin Zalewski. We will not be announcing this result until after we have the final. All I will be doing is confirming from the judges that we have a winner. You will not be finding out the result until we go to the podium. However, we are here now. Josh, how hyped are you for this?
Oh man, I'm waiting to see all-out war
All Out
These
War is
drivers
on.
to kill each other.
They are off the line. Artem Makashenko goes for the flick in. Austin Zalewski sends it up onto his quarter as hard as he can. Look at that proximity from Austin Zalewski. But Artem Makashenko has been the man with all of the angle in the lead position all day. He's been running higher angle than everyone all the way through those outer zones. Look at that. Oh, and Austin Zalewski's basically rubbing doors with him on the transition. Fantastic dive from Austin Zalewski. He wants that place on the podium, but was there contact that then forced Artem Makashenko off track? Oh, and there's contact again as they come through and across the line. This is the all-out war that Josh was talking about. This is what he wanted to see.
As a friend of mine would say, who goes by the name of Keenan, kill him! And that is exactly what they've been trying to do to each other, and I'm absolutely enjoying it. As these two are grabbing each other's doors on that third outside zone there. Daryl D. Oh, wait, excuse me. Austin Zalewski all over the man from Ukraine. Oh, man, it's a war against America and Ukraine right now. It is Europe versus the States.
Well, that was one hell of a send up onto the inside there from Austin Zalewski. But as we go back to the start line now, does Artem Makashenko, the man who I think has had one of the most precise and high angle and high impact lead runs all day, does he have an answer for Austin Zalewski's fast flowing lead? Can Artem Makashenko find it? And he can. He's straight up onto the door, almost contact as they come through there. Artem Makashenko winds the angle off and just gets that proximity. He is slotted in onto the inside of Austin Zalewski, and there's another dive. Oh, it's the same kind of dive. I don't know if Austin Zalewski's pulled it off. It looked like there might have been contact again, but these guys are absolutely knock down, rack 'em up, go again, punch for punch, evenly matched. Look at that run from both of those drivers and across the line.
Once again, bringing on the love taps. It's a war for the bronze medal, or the bronze trophy, whatever it might be, for the third place step on the podium. And my goodness me, they're not making it easy for the judges and also each other. They are hungry for this podium. They want to make this worth it. They don't want to miss out on the victory line.
So, as I tab across to see if we have a result.
Are we entering the result, Ben?
Please enter the result. It will not be shown on stream. Hello, Chris.
Hello. Right, I will be back soon then.
So if you have a result, enter the result and do the same for the final, please.
Okay, no worries.
Oh boy.
So, the only thing that will happen, the reason we are watching these two guys on stream right now, we will wait and see if there is a winner. We will move on to the final and the winner will be announced at the podium.
I won't be looking at the Discord. I'm going to leave it as a surprise for me, I would say.
And I can tell you that we do, in fact, have a winner. We are going to move on to the final. It is time for Daryl Diaz versus Connor Christensen. This is what it's been building up to. We are on hour 14 of competition over the course of these last 2 days. This is where we are at. This is the final. An all James Dean replica final.
Can I have a moment of hype?
Go for it.
The crowd. Righty. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the finals. Forget the rest. You got the best. It is the Tsujigiri Drift Challenge at Three Sisters Round 2. Ladies and gentlemen, it's final time!
Absolutely right, Josh. It is final time. Tsujigiri Global Drift Challenge Pro Series Round 2 is lined up. The lights are on. It is go time for this final. Daryl Diaz, his second final in 2 events, goes for his second victory in a row. Our number 1 qualifier fires it onto that outside line, and he's managed to open up a gap on Connor Christensen, but Connor is there again by round corner 2 as they go to outside clip 2. Connor Christensen sends it up the inside through the power alley. diving onto that door, and there's contact as they push each other hard through clip 4. And now Daryl Diaz absolutely as wide as anyone has been on clip 5, but it's allowed Connor Christensen right back up onto his door. Look at that from Connor Christensen as they come across the line. Oh, we have got a fight for you, boys and girls.
This is a fight indeed. I think, though, that Daryl might be getting away with a slight advantage there because Connor wasn't exactly hitting that first outside zone on entry, but all the way the rest of it, though, he is absolutely mimicking Daryl, doing what he needs to do in the chase. And as for Daryl Diaz, absolutely on that outside, just barely touching the grass, not even touching it, though. Just you couldn't fit a piece of paper between the tire and the grass. That is insane. Oh my goodness!
Oh,
Wow.
it's fun seeing the chat from their OTM teammates in the chat. They just go an all OTM team final, and then the OTM in the chat saying these guys sucks will be a bad battle. OTM A2Z, thank you for the follow. So here we go. We are off the line. Is this the last battle of the night? Oh my word, here we go. Connor Christensen goes for the initiation. Daryl Diaz is alongside him, and Connor Christensen doesn't get deep into outer zone 1. He's done this before, though. He's come up shallow in 1 and then put on an absolutely phenomenal lead line. But Daryl Diaz is there. Look at that. Daryl Diaz tucking under that bumper, and one of the most aggressive but cleanest transitions we've seen into clip 4 all night. Daryl Diaz is absolutely pumped for this. Connor Christensen firing on all cylinders, but Daryl Diaz is right there, pushing him across the line. Look at that from Daryl Diaz.
It is full steam ahead into the first corner that they went. Oh my goodness me, this battle was amazing. And I am absolutely speechless to the point I don't know what to say anymore. These guys are absolutely putting their heart out on the track, just all out, foot flat to the floor, and all 6 cylinders of the 2Js absolutely firing off. Oh boy, now the tyres are absolutely shredded to death. We're gonna wait to see if we have a winner, but I think I know who's got the win here, and I
can tell
I don't
you.
want to say it.
As you say it, though, Josh, I can tell you that one of the judges' scores has dropped into place. I am looking at the judges' scores right now. We will announce them on the final. I can tell you we do have a confirmed winner. Ladies and gentlemen of the chat, if you would like to place your bets now, this is the time to do it. We are going to bring them all round to this final position. All of your finalists, we are going to move round so that they are here on that line so you can see all of it. I am going to move us down so we got that in the chat as we come round. So, as you can see, they're parked up. Connor Christensen having fought his way through. Daryl Diaz meeting him in the final. We have a winner, I can confirm. We are just waiting now for all of our finalists, all of the drivers that have fought so hard their way through here. As we zoom over Three Sisters, here we can see in the background Artem Makashenko and Austin Zalewski. Here's Artem Makashenko over at the pit box as we zoom around Three Sisters. This beautiful track in Wigan, this purpose-built layout for us by Ho-Ho at KKNC. And here is your podium. We have not announced the winner yet. That is coming up. I can confirm, however, that making it through onto the podium from the playoff was Austin Zalewski. Austin Zalewski makes it into 3rd place. Congratulations to him. He is your 3rd place driver. However, our final is an S14.9 with a 2JZ under the bonnet, driven by a member of OTM. And what a final it was, but only one winner. And that winner is Daryl Diaz. Daryl Diaz has managed to get himself up onto the podium top step. Yet again, Daryl Diaz is your
Wow.
championship leader quite comfortably still. He is first place, first 2 events of the season. Daryl Diaz defeats OTM teammate Connor Christensen, who worked so hard to get to that final. What a phenomenal run that was. Josh, thank you so much for coming and joining me. It's been a pleasure having you here.
Really glad I jumped in for the fun. That was really worth it. Thank you so much.
Well, no, it's been a pleasure having you, and well done on your top 32. That is absolutely fantastic, and congratulations to all of the drivers who worked so hard to get through today. Congratulations to Daryl, to Connor, to Austin, and also to Artem Makishenko, the final 4, particularly to Daryl on keeping that championship lead. Those guys are through now. Daryl Diaz has a clear lead at the top of the championship. Thank you to our judges, to Bobby Hill for stepping in for Caleb Dauphiné, who was taken off to hospital midway through this event, which we didn't make public at the time, but we hope that he is okay. He is one of our stalwart guys. We could not run this without him. So thank you to him. Thank you to Bobby for stepping in. Thank you to Octavian Shellaroo for coming along. He's on holiday and he's joined us for this today. And thank you to Chris Ennis for his continued to support, both as a judge and as Eclipse Motorsport. Thank you also to Anders Unger for his fantastic work as the start line marshal. We could not do any of this without him. We look forward to some of these guys going off to Virtual Drift Championship. Thank you to them for their support, and also to Grip Royal for their prize donation to this championship. Thank you to all of our Patreons. You are most welcome here. Thank you to you guys for staying with us and spectating. That was round 2, Tsujigiri Global Drift Challenge at Three Sisters. We will be back in 2 weeks' time for round 3. Is Daryl Diaz going to make it a clean sweep for the whole season? Find out in 2 weeks' time when we see you next for TGDC Pro round 3. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and we will see you then. Have a great night. Goodbye.
Goodbye.